Triple M rocks footy.
And Kogan Mobile, this is the Triple M Friday Huddle. Switch to Kogan Mobile, $2.90 for 30 days with a big 20 gig of data. The Demons taking on the Pies, who are looking for an 11th straight win. Mark Howard with your Luke Darcy, Jason Dunstan, Damien Barrett, and this man, Nathan.
Before we get to the top five, Howard, I just wanted to bring up something that, like, we had Daniel Patrick in before, so he had his media team behind us, and he looks like a one-man show.
Yep.
And I haven't seen a one-man show quite as good as you, though, Howard. You pump up your podcast as much as you possibly can. I feel like there's a conflict of interest every time you do your podcast, and then try and just wedge it into a Fox call. So I'd like to bring up...
Never done that in my life.
I'd like to bring up the fact that you had Mason Cox on a couple of weeks ago. So let's listen to you and Mason Cox.
Nicknames.
Oh, nicknames. Coxie. Australians are lazy. Just add a wire O at the end of someone's name. Coxie, Cocko. Someone did call me Big Tex once. I kind of like that one.
Yeah, Big Tex.
Being from Texas. I
could bring that into commentary.
Yeah, if you don't mind just making that.
I could go with that.
Do it.
Yes.
So did you go with it in the commentary?
I called Collingwood on Saturday.
So let's have a listen.
On the telly. From tight in the pocket, and Big Tex arrives on the scene. And Mason will have no problem from here.
Hasn't really caught on though, has it?
Well, we've only had 1 week of it.
Bit of cross-promotion, Howie.
Well, I just
Did you explain it to people when you used it first time around?
No, I got about 35 peanuts on social media saying, his nickname's not Big Tex. I said, well, he wants it to be Big Tex, so tonight does. When our man
There's a
Mason
sort of
goes
one
next to
rule in nicknames is you'd never, ever get to give yourself one, Howie.
The great thing is, though, Duke, how he's trying to drag you into it now to call him.
I think Big Tex.
Tex.
I think Big Tex. No, he's a good chat too, Mason Cox.
One in all in down the front row.
Remarkable. He told me a story, Das. He told me a story on the Howie Games, Australia's #1 sporting podcast. He told me a story that you remember he came in. Was it a Friday night or a Sunday when he came in and talked about his eye issues, Mason Cox?
Came with us on Friday,
Yeah, I think it was a Friday night.
Yep.
He was saying during that COVID year, he had so many problems with his eye that for a period of the season, the second half of the season, I was thinking he was saying, his long-range vision was so poor when he came back to playing football that he couldn't see the footy till it was about 4 or 5 metres away from him in the air, to the point where he had to follow where his defender was running towards the ball before he could see the ball coming his way. So he was leading off his defender as the defender knew where the footy was going and the big fella didn't.
It makes the game reasonably tough.
Yeah.
Jimmy Morrissey used to be like that. Played at Hawthorn, had very, very average
freak.
eyesight. Yeah,
Noah Bolter's a bit like that as well.
And he'd only react when the ball got close to him and did some freakish things. That's why we called him the freak.
He also spoke about when he got the initial email and he was playing basketball in college and he got an email to come to a tryout for AFL, and he thought he was going to a tryout in Los Angeles for the Arena Football League, which is indoor NFL. That's what he thought he was turning up to do. So that's how far back in the field he came from.
I'm keen to listen to that one, Howie. I do want to listen to that one in full. I've heard the little snippets of it.
Check it out. Now, you got a top 5?
I certainly do.
Okay, then. Do you want to stick it?
He's a self-proclaimed footy superstar.
I reckon I was probably the most influential player in the AFL.
He fears nothing and no one.
This is all off-air stuff that you're not allowed to talk about on air, but I've gone with it anyway.
And he sees the world a little differently.
Just watching a Komodo dragon eat a monkey.
This is Nathan Brown's Top 5.
All right, Noodles, what do you got, big boy?
So I know I'm married to an amazing woman, right? And I get reminded of this every day. I come in every Friday night, and it's like you'd rather have Christina in here in the box.
Fair call.
I don't think there's any arguments at all with that.
She's wonderful.
I lasted 30 years pretty much on my own, and I turned out okay at the age of 30. Yeah, the next decade has been pretty good. And she is an amazing woman. But there are some things, okay, that I'm better at. So I thought I'd do a top 5 things that I'm better than my wife at.
Oh my goodness. He's not going to.
We're not party to this, all right? And Luke, get the dumper.
Top things Nate's better at than Christina.
Okay, so let's start at number 3.
That's 3.
So I can only get 3.
You can't do 5. She's got 3.
So I am much better, and this might come as a surprise to people, and there'd be men out there at the moment sitting at home in the car listening going, I'm better at this than my wife as well. Doing the laundry. Now, I love doing the laundry, Chief. The fact that I go to the extra length to get everything that smells right, and I want my kids to go to school and be known as the freshest smelling kids in school. She doesn't do that. She doesn't go the extra mile with the fabric softener. All right? So that is one thing I'm better at.
Which fabric softener do you use, Brown?
Cuddly.
As do I.
Yeah, very good, Chief.
I
Okay.
can see you using a bit of cuddly, Chief.
Absolutely.
With those woolen pants he's going to be wearing next week.
I am much better at making the school lunches. The amount of times that my kids come up to me and go, Dad, I need you to make the lunches. I don't like Mum's lunches. Helene goes, do you know what she put in for a snack yesterday in my lunch?
What?
A mini capsicum. She goes, can you believe that? A mini capsicum. So I had a look at the lunch that
So
Christina
what's
put
your
together.
go-to, Brownie? Because I've had to do this week.
But this is not me. This is Christina. Snow peas, cucumber, carrot, and capsicum was the snack, and then a sandwich with ham, cheese, and tomato, which goes soggy before
The
they
tomato,
can eat
yeah.
it.
Right, so what do you get?
What do you do?
So I go a
Tiny teddies?
Vegemite sandwich. They
Okay.
like Vegemite, so give them what they like. Every now and again, you're not meant to put peanut butter in, but I slip a peanut butter one in every now and again.
Hello to anyone out there that's
No,
got
you
a
shouldn't be
black
doing that.
issue.
No, I don't. I'm just joking.
No, you're not.
And barbecue shapes. You always have to have some barbecue shapes, and I stack it full of fruit. Not veggies. Kids like fruit. Kids don't like veggies. So fruit is just as good as
Did
veggies.
Christina take the core out of that capsicum? Because that would have been a hard eat if she didn't.
This is a thing that I'm better at making lunches.
What's the number one?
And falling asleep, Howie. I mean, Christina has trouble sleeping. She is a deep thinker late at
That's
night.
'cause
And
she's
she
stressed
stresses
about
when
being
you
with you,
can't
mate.
get to sleep.
Yeah.
She's
I'd be
wondering where
stressed
her
if I was
life
lying
went
down
wrong.
next to you.
I
too.
don't have that problem.
No,
I could
'cause
sleep-
you have no
I could
conscience.
sleep anywhere. I've actually fallen asleep with the shakers once or twice, but I could fall asleep anywhere. So they are the three things I couldn't even find. And so I look at that and I was thinking about it today and I thought, I'm a pretty lucky man.
Triple M rocks footy.
This quarter for Beacon Trade, supporting tradies with over 120 stores, expert trade teams, design services, and a huge range of electrical accessories. Beacon, making every tradie's job easier.
Melbourne versus Collingwood is your game. Up next, the top 3,000 things that Christine is better at than Nathan at. We'll get into the game. Hey, again, this week, the discussion about the unicorn dance, it is just hammering my social media. We spoke about it for 2 weeks now, Chief. I think I'm going to throw one nomination at you.
So just to
that I
remind
think
people
is there.
again, Howie, you got three categories.
Bums on seats, so you pay to watch them play. They're a heart and soul player at your football club.
So Lenny Hayes type.
Lenny Hayes, bums on seats is Eddie Betts. And then they're a cult figure like Sam Draper.
Push-up king.
Push-up king. So
The whiz.
I've got one. So our current leaderboard, and I've got that many messages. You'd think our social media team would have done something on about it. I'm not sure where they've been this week, but anyway. Currently leading Matthew Richardson.
Who's just a touch weak in the cult figure status. He's got the other two
Yes,
down
but
pat.
he's out. I got a lot of suggestions this week, and I've narrowed them down to one who I think I need your advice as a group, but I think this is up there with Richo. So cult hero, heart and soul, bums on seats. Trevor Barker.
Well, Barks is...
Yeah, I think he does qualify on all three.
Bums
if
on
you would have
seats.
played against the great
Yep.
Trevor
Yep.
Barker... a lot-
Bums on seats, Chief.
No, 100% he is.
Heart and
100%.
soul, the footy club.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, took the pay cuts as they all did, but was the face of the club through the tough times. Yeah,
Cult hero.
absolutely, I would think, yes.
I would have thought the big blonde hangers.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Past Richo. We got a new clubhouse leader.
I reckon we have.
Trevor Barker.
I thought so when I heard it. I thought he was a bit more cultish than Richo.
Yep.
Chief, you're the moral arbiter.
No,
of this
it's difficult because you just said cult figure, the big blonde hangers and all that sort of thing. Well, that's probably the bums on seats things for me more than cult figure.
one. Okay.
But he's right there. He's with Richo. I find them both not quite the consummate
Unicorn.
cult figure.
Right, so you still think the unicorn
But
is out there?
I don't know if the unicorn is there. And we know the unicorn's a mythical creature.
Except in cricket, where Andrew Simons is a massive box ticket in all departments. Bums on seats, heart and soul, cult figure.
Yep.
Okay.
So, Chief, who in your mind then is the ultimate cult figure then in AFL if you just go to that category alone?
If you're just talking cult figures like the doormat,
The flying
Bruce
doormat,
Gould,
yeah.
yep.
Bruce Toole was
yeah,
enormous. I mean, Dakes was a cult figure, let's be brutally honest. Gary Ablett Sr. was a cult figure.
Darren Mullane.
Darren Mullane, there's an interesting one. Is he a cult figure?
Renee Kink was a cult figure.
Yeah. Yeah, no doubt.
Can I give you the worst? I didn't think I was going to do this, but now it's popped in my mind. Can I give you the worst suggestion I got this week? And I love this bloke as a footballer, but I just don't think he's ticking these categories. And he's a star. His name is James Sicily. And I had a supporter say, this is a unicorn, hands down. I don't think he's a cult figure.
I don't. Yeah,
I think he's building.
Okay. Is
he's building.
Is he heart and soul?
Well, I'm not inside the club. I think he'd be close.
Is he bums on seats?
Yeah, well,
No.
he's very close on all of them, I think.
Okay. We'll see how he goes.
But maybe just hasn't nailed them down yet like
Okay.
some of the others have.
All right. Should we start? We need to get to the headline first, I think, tonight, because, Damo, I know you've been working on this feverishly.
Well, I have actually. I haven't put more time into this aspect of our show than I have tonight, Howard, because Ed Langdon provided some content for us yesterday, and we do actually have that, Leroy, in the studio. So Ed Langdon on SEN yesterday had this to say, the Melbourne player, about Collingwood.
They're sort of all duck, no dinner in a sense that, if they're playing fast footy on their terms, they're a very hard team to stop, but they're a bit of a one-trick pony at times. So hopefully we can dampen the way they want to play and on the back of that, go out and ostensibly play the way we want to play.
Fantastic use of cliches, Das, and not just use of cliches, but use of two animals within the cliches that he used.
I love it,
the
Damo.
duck. I do too.
We need to celebrate that.
No, we do. So I had to do something along the duck analogy, Howie. So, look, I wanted to present options for the subs who write the headlines.
Yep.
In events of a win or loss for Melbourne. So I reckon if Melbourne win tonight, it's Ed's comments.
Spit it out, Damo.
Duck to water. You can also use the dead duck phrase, Howie. You could use the lame duck phrase. You could use the lucky duck phrase. So I'm just providing options for all scenarios.
What if Collingwood win?
Water off a duck's back.
It's not bad.
There's options, Howie. You've got to work with me on this.
Yeah, I still thought my suggestions got you covered on.
What was your suggestion?
Well, I love Jack Crisp. He's playing about his 1,000th game in a row, and Collingwood wins Crispy Duck.
No, that's horrendous.
No, see, Howie, you're not skilled at this.
Oh, this from you, Shakespeare.
There's water off a duck's back, dead duck, lame duck, ducks and drakes.
Might be time for you to double.
Yeah, it might be actually.
Hey, can you do Max's podcast this week?
If Max is available.
Okay. All right.
So you can use it next week.
Yep, absolutely. We need it before the season's done. Do we need to preview this game at this stage, Chiefy?
It's a reasonably large game, Howie.
It is.
That we need to sink our teeth into, I would have thought.
Yes.
And probably this is a good time for Nathan and I to have a little chat.
Okay.
All right. So
you haven't stopped
Collingwood have won 10 in a row. And I look at their numbers. In the last 6 weeks, they've played against, let's call them inferior opposition, and they've got the job done. So every game, they've lost the clearances. And they've lost the clearances by more than 10. So the last 6 games, they've lost contested footy. And if they do that again tonight, if Melbourne get them in the clearances, they won't win the ball back. So they have to be able to break even in the clearances or win the contested football, because if the trend continues over the last 6 weeks, they won't scrape in. They can't. So they would have been talking all week, okay, we need to get our hands dirty. We need to be able to win the football. We need to play the game in our half of the ground, because if we play the game in Melbourne's half of the ground, we're going to come up short. And the other thing, they need to look back at the last time they played Collingwood played Melbourne, because they took ground off them. I thought Fremantle last week just sat back and let the game unfold, and Lever and May just dominated in the air, and the ball went back the other way and they had no opportunity. Collingwood take ground in front of them. They did it the SCG 2 years ago. They did it earlier on this season. So they need to put the pressure on the Demons defenders by moving the ball quickly and taking the ground in front of them.
It's interesting as we see the toss of the coin. Did anyone see who won that toss of the coin?
No.
Okay. That's fantastic. Max Gawn will kick to the right of your radio dial. Thank you for being switched on, you blokes. It's interesting you're focusing on those clearances, Brownie. You're saying they can't squeak in again, but they keep doing it. They keep doing it.
They haven't played a side like Melbourne in this
They've had some good wins. They've had some good wins against good teams, and the Melbourne we're talking about isn't the Melbourne of last year yet. What their defence has done is stand up really well the last couple of months. So they have got a really good structure behind the ball. They're doing particularly well. And what I didn't realise is they've won 6 of the last 7 against Melbourne. Now that, when you get a run like that, that suggests that the style of play and the matchups work in favour of Collingwood. So that's the challenge for Melbourne is to turn around that confidence that Collingwood have when they play a team like Melbourne.
This is the Triple M footy preview for TaylorMade Golf, the all-new stealth driver from TaylorMade with a 60-layer carbon face that delivers unparalleled distance and forgiveness. Tommy Brown, Bob Jane T-Marts, they always look after you. Buy 3, get 1 free. Instant cash back on top tyre brands 13, 26, 25 or order online today. BobJane.com.au. Tommy Brown!
Howie, an incredible atmosphere down here. I don't want to estimate the crowd, but I'd suggest at this stage it's around 60,000, which I think is a conservative figure. In terms of the conditions, it's dry, which is good news, and still. So it's an absolute beauty. Great atmosphere down here, Howie, for a massive Friday night.
Chew Man's here. Red Z, hello, Chewy.
Yeah, good evening, Howie. Jamie Elliott, 150th game since he made his debut back in round 9, 2012. He's kicked more majors than any other Collingwood player.
Jordan De Goey starting in the middle on Clayton Oliver.
And a great matchup on the other wing, side bottom and Langdon.
Max Gawn started deep for the D's. Darcy Moore, his opponent. So we're underway. Jackson and Cameron. It's the Magpie ruckman with the hit out, and sliding in over the top of it was De Goey, as Brandy said, started in the centre bounce. He's wrapped up immediately. Good news is the rain's cleared. It looks like a perfect night here at the MCG. It's a big crowd. Side bottom immediately confronted by Neil Bourne. Farm the handball out to the Shane Warne stand wing. Langdon, who had the all-controversial goal. They come from everywhere. They are giving it to Langdon. There's 6 Magpies, and they have got stuck into Langdon. All duck or no dinner. They've gone after him, Chief.
That is a targeted player. That is a player that they have made a point of targeting.
And I love Craig McRae. He was very evasive during the week and said, we don't take a lot of notice. That they took notice, all right. It was old school.
And you don't see that too often, Duke. And the opportunity in the first minute to bury him, and they did.
And I love it.
They also did it the right way, Duke, without giving away a free kick.
And then Langdon, who just patrols that wing as well as anyone. Shane Warne stands side at the MCG, so he's got a little bit to think about. Chris drives the first inside 50 forward. May got back, and a double fister that maybe he would have marked if he's had his time again. So boundaries throwing deep in attack for the Pies. Electric start here, Howie.
Jordan De Goey got a big job. He's playing on Clayton Oliver at the moment. You watch Jordan De Goey at the MCG. Spends a lot of time in the centre square area. He's the conduit between the half-back and half-forwards.
Jackson in the ruck down to Viney. Immediately clears his defensive 50. Maynard bounces on the turf in front of him. Picked up by Big Maxi Gawn. Drives it forward only as far as Howe. Ball centre wing. Here comes Maynard. Back to Howe. Going inside 50 for the Pies. They go deep. It's fisted away. And the impressive Ash Johnson was there. Saw him play last week, Chief.
Yep.
This is a man worth keeping an eye on.
Yeah, he is. He's come into the team, and he's actually found a way to kick goals very quickly. 3 games, 6 goals. Looks a natural.
Brilliant looking crowd here on a Friday night at the MCG. No score to Goey. Chance to kick the first goal for the Pies. Read it beautifully. Left foot stab. And the Collingwood Army are up. There's your first of Friday night footy. And Jordan De Goey was powerful enough to kick it. Well, the Triple M Beacon Trade scoreboard supporting tradies with 120 stores, expert trade teams, design services, huge range of electrical accessories. Hard to say that. Beacon making every tradie's job easier. De Goey kicks the first.
What's interesting, Duke, is that I said he's playing on Clayton Oliver. Now, you look at Clayton Oliver, he is a long way off Jordan De Goey. Jake Lever turns around, has a discussion with Clayton Oliver what happened. Brayshaw then turns around and they all discuss what happened. How did Jordan De Goey get on his own so far? Well, the simple fact of the matter is that Clayton Oliver just stood there and allowed Jordan De Goey to get the football. He wanted to get the football himself, put no time into him. Collingwood kicked the first goal.
We talk about entertainment and how Ed Langdon made those comments and it was great and they tackled him. De Goey kicked that goal and made a little sort of duck waddle style situation to us. That would have taken it to a whole nother level. In the middle we go. Pies with the first goal. Viney got a high one. He's got it right in the middle of the MCG. He'll advance to centre half forward. Left foot banging ball deep. Down towards the Fritcher. Maxi Gawn landed on his chest. Didn't expect it. Petrarca spins into trouble. Out of trouble and kicks an absolute top shelf Petrarca. This is the start we're after. A goal apiece as the heavyweights go head-to-head on a Friday night. 1 each on the Triple M Beacon Trade scoreboard.
Oh, the man's a superstar. That is just sheer strength and determination. So he's bursting through a contest area where the ball's loose, there are players everywhere, and he got tagged early in the tackle, but he just rode it. And he was strong enough to maintain his balance, get the angle right, throw it on the boot, and still kick it. It was Darcy Moore. He stepped inside, who then wrapped him up in the tackle, but just too strong. He is genuine superstar material.
Outstanding goal, Christian Petrarca. His chief described very eloquently that was all power and strength, and he loved it, Petrarca. So a couple of balls kicked the first for either side. De Goey followed by Petrarca. Speaking of balls, Jack Viney. Max Gawn came charging at it. He was confronted by Braden Maynard. Thought he should have deserved a free kick. Max, nothing doing. Through the hands of Hoskin Elliott. And then the Demon defence connect through Langdon back to Brayshaw. He's had a wonderful season. Into the hands of Petrarca. Dropped the mark. Pendlebury got back. This is Nick Dacos now. Slick little handball to De Goey. Josh Dacos. Salem got him. Got him cold. Really good pressure, Melbourne, and Salem came up with it.
That's the pressure they weren't putting on for at least 3 or 4 weeks. So against the Bulldogs, where the Bulldogs won the game, Melbourne didn't lay a tackle in their forward half of the ground. The week before, they only laid 6 tackles. I reckon they had a conversation last week. We need to get back to our defensive best, which made us as good as what we were in our premiership year. A big tackle laid early.
15 seconds. Salem was subbed out in round 1 with a knee injury. It took him till round 12 to get back, and he's just building and building his form since then. Very important player is Christian Salem. Yet to kick a goal in season 2022. This would be a nice one for him. 47-metre kick. Angle not a big issue, and he's nailed it. Back-to-back goals, the D's. Christian Salem kicks his first of the year. And Melbourne go to 2 straight 12. The Pies 1 straight 6. That's all the Triple M Beacon Trade score.
Laid 6 tackles in 5 minutes, Chief. The Demons.
Jack Viney's burst out of the blocks too. 4 possessions, a couple of clearances, including a centre bounce clearance. So he's the one doing the in and under work. It's been a great comeback given Collingwood got the perfect start. I reckon we're in for a cracking game tonight.
And Jack Viney, Chief, past 8 matches, averaging career-high disposals at 31 per game. Overall leads the club in tackles and 3rd for contested ball and clearances.
Triple M Red Z Lending stats with the 2-man in season 21. Red Z Lending loans for the self-employed. Triple M Beacon Trade scoreboard. Melbourne 2 straight. The Pies 1 straight. Supporting tradies with over 120 stores, expert trade teams, design services, a huge range of electric accessories. Beacon makes every tradie's job easier. Back in the middle we go. Through the legs of Pendlebury. Trying to get a handle on it was James Jordan. Free kick whistle. He's going the way of Jordan. In fact, Oliver now. The superstar that is Clayton Oliver. Sends the ball deep. Howe's in best position. Brings it to the ground. Nick Dacos, the phenomenon that he's been in the first year. Out to Murphy. Sends it to the outer side to Johnson. Fisted away from him by Petty. Heavy contest on the ball. Picked up by Crisp. Now Maynard through the middle of the ground. His hand passed a little bit too much on it. Brayshaw comes back the other way. Squeezes the ball inside 50. Noble's in position. Pick and arrives with speed though to halve the contest. Hurried snap out of the pack all the way to the goal square. Pushing and shoving is Darcy Moore. He's working hard to get off Jake Melksham. And it is intense as it goes across the line.
Pretty well there, Darcy Moore. Under some severe pressure from Melksham and the D's, who now have it camped in their forward half of the ground. They got a 6-point lead early stages of this first term. Jackson clean possession from the ruck. Viney started this game in scintillating fashion, and that is a miracle goal from the pocket. Big smile on Simon Goodwin's face, and the D's have gone bang, bang, bang after Collingwood kicked the first. They're 3 straight 18, Collingwood 1 straight 6. Ripping goal to Viney in the Triple M Beacon Trade scoreboard.
It was a good goal, but it was set up by their ruckman Jackson, who took the ball out of that ruck contest and pushed it forward and got it out to Viney, who finished nicely, but it was just a good understanding between the players and the ruckman, and it was a short boundary throw-in, so it's always when the ruckman can go forward to that short boundary throw-in and pick it up quickly and then get it out to a teammate. And I don't think Darcy Cameron did a lot wrong. He's just in the wrong spot at the wrong time, and he was able to get body on him, Jackson, which just put him off his kilter a little bit, and the handball was brilliant.
Great stuff on the Triple M Harvey Norman replay, Chief. To see Jack Viney get a high five from his coach Simon Goodwin, then a pat on the back from Mark Williams is fantastic.
You couldn't get a better start to a game. Seriously, he has burst out of the blocks.
Brayshaw again with another clearance to Melbourne. They're looking for a 4th straight goal. Down towards Brown. Gets hands to it before the ball. Melksham good around the sticks. Goes back by hand. Neil Bullen. Now Jordan. Figured early. Sends it deep. Fritsch is outnumbered about 3 Magpies, but Max comes in from the side. Did everything but take the mark. Dacos, that's Nick, now Noble. Hurry kick out of defence. Josh Dacos loops a hand pass towards Pendlebury to Josh Dacos. Back to Pendlebury, back to Josh Dacos, centre wing.
Dacos scrubbers the kick. It's going to land with Brayshaw. Picked it up cleanly off his toes. Took on a tackler and Hoskin Elliott through the hands of Stephen May. To James Jordan, to Oliver. Melbourne going to rebound this one. Oliver goes back to Jordan. Floats it to half forward. Max came at it again. Mason Cox with a defensive spoil. Free kick's been picked out. There we go, the way of the Magpies, who I think will just want to try and relax a little bit here. They've just been under the hammer in the last 5 or 6 minutes. Pressure in this game, man, feels enormous so far.
Yeah, D's pressure 224, Collingwood at 212, averages 180.
That is off the charts. That is big time. Here's Lipinski, being a handy recruit for the Pies. Beautiful ball to Jamie Elliott. Game 150. Superb kick, Lipinski. And now Elliott can settle things down and kick one back for the Pies.
Gee, that's great play by Lipinski, because Elliott he had a man all over him. So Lipinski knew that if he just carried the ball and waited, he'd be able to drop his opponent and find some space. And that's what he did. He was able to push off Lever and then lead up at the footy.
Had a big week, Jamie Elliott, been kitted out the Daniel Patrick gear. Feeling good, looking good. Game 150. Important kick. And he nailed it, Jamie Elliott. He's got nerves of steel. We saw him kick the winner after the siren a couple of weeks back, and it's a nice reply for the Pies. They go to 2 straight 12. The D's are 3 straight 18. That is all in the Triple M Beacon Trade School.
It happened off the ball while that was going on. I think it was Spargo that went down. Big Max Gawn running over to remonstrate with Mason Cox, but the umpires saw it. Nothing untoward. You spoke about the pressure being over 200 for both teams. You have to expect it coming here tonight. Second against third, 2 teams desperate to lock down a top 4 spot. You've got to expect this sort of pressure, and I think both teams are handling it very well at the moment.
Triple M Seabass Super, you got Noodles Brown and the big chief 12.54 himself in the back row. Seabass Super making hard work pay off. To Goey, the opener, then Petrarca, Salem and Viney before Elliott answered, and it's a 1-goal lead to the Demons. We're only 11 minutes into this game, and we've got 5 goals on the board. That's what you want on a Friday night. Max Gawn down towards Petrarca, Brayshaw back to Petrarca. There's Langdon, cue the boos. Here they come now. As he sends it to the outer side, Quaynor runs back with a flight. Neil Bullen brings it to ground. Nick Dacos tries to fashion a kick, doesn't quite work out to the crisper. He does really well with a little low hand pass. Josh Dacos back to his brother Nick. Chance for a turnover here for the Demons. Josh Dacos with a big tackle on Neil Bullen. And there is some real sizzle to this one, Nate.
Every time someone's being tackled and they're on the ground, there's just that little bit of extra aggro going into the tackle or pushing ahead into the ground at the moment. Both sides have been very careful the way they've done it, but they've certainly been intent.
You can just see young Nick Dacos get tackled and look up and think, wow, this is a game getting played at a different level here so far in the first quarter. Look at Petrarca with a bullet pass. Well read, Johnny Noble. Ben Brown comes in from behind, picked it up, got it to Spargo, smothered off the boot. It was pretty well done there, Nathan Murphy. And it will be out of bounds where the boundary line meets the forward 50 arc for the D's.
Both Dacos boys have been tackled once or twice already. The D's are putting a lot of work into them. They like to set play up when they rebound. They like to run and carry, and they're not getting the time to do that.
What a cracker this is already. Friday night footy at the MCG for McDonald's and Ream Hotwater. Triple M Rocks footy. Melbourne by 6 points to Goey with strength. Picked up by Brayshaw. Inside forward 50 go the D's again. Handball from Brown to Oliver to Neil Bullen to the goal square. Almost shepherded through. Free kick's going to go Melbourne's way. It'll be Melksham. A little clumsy Darcy Moore.
He showed good strength, Jake Melksham. He was having a bob each way. The ball was bouncing. He thought if it bounces a little bit to the side or bounces up high, he might be able to shepherd it through, but he held front spot. And then when the ball did come, he just parried it in front of him and drew the high contact.
Triple M Harvey Norman replay screen there for mine. And no doubt with that one, the umpire had no choice, just got a bit of a clubbing in the end around the head, Jack Melksham. So directly in front, a metre out. Melksham comes up with his first goal of the game. Back out to a 2-goal margin, 4 straight to 2 straight. The D's by 12 points. That's all on the Triple M Beacon Trade scoreboard.
Had a really good setup then, the Demons. So the boundary throw was on 50. Max Gawn looked like he was going to take the tap, but at the last minute backed out of the contest and came back to centre wing to set up the ball and help out his defenders. Ben Brown comes up, takes the ruck work. Nobody really won the tap out, the ruck, the ball followed on, and then Darcy Cameron got caught ball watching. So he was going after the football. Melbourne win the football, and then in the chain going back forward, Ben Brown was used in that chain. It was Mason Cox who got caught watching the football, not Darcy Cameron. And then Ben Brown was involved going forward. So they had a ruckman behind the footy. They had Ben Brown searching forward, and he set that goal up with a handball.
Triple M Red Z, Melbourne ranked first for first quarters. They've won 15 out of 20, outscored their oppo by 186, up by 12 points as we speak.
That's the two man with the Red Zeds. Melbourne with the answers at the moment. They lead it 4 goals to 2. To go, he's caught with the footy.
Those legged. The umpire further afield saw it.
The tackle drifted down. To go, he gets the free kick. The Pies go inside, 50. Fisted away by Lever. The ball's directed towards Maya Czech. Lever could pay to that. Now goes towards the line and gets it safely across the line.
We've spoken about Jack Viney, the flying start. He said we shouldn't underestimate Angus Brayshaw either. 8 possessions, 3 clearances. He's getting plenty of it.
The Chief and Nate, the Triple M Super Special comments, as always on a Friday night here on the M's. Big crowd, the MCG. Mason Cox to Goey. He's in good touch early. Little left footer was in the direction of the intended target, Ash Johnson. He couldn't take the mark. Harrison Petty got it over. So boundary throw in. At the punt road end of the MCG, that's where the Pies are attacking to. They trail by 12 points. 12 minutes remaining in the first term.
What do you think of the crowd, Chewy? It's quite substantial.
I think as Tom Brown said, 60,000+, Howie.
Okay. McCreary doesn't get a hand on the footy. Attempting a clever little tap was Nick Dacos to his brother, Josh. Nick again, now Oliver. Brayshaw over the top, hand pass only as far as Chris. He gives it to Noble, sends it to the outer side. To side bottom. Looks like he's playing on Langdon at the moment. Plays on now, side bottom. Looks like Alonso. Sends it forward towards Big Tex. Mason Cox can't take the mark. Spills out of his hands. Viney. Hunt sidesteps. Back to Viney. Runs in his defensive area. Nearly collared. They're under all sorts of pressure at Melbourne at the moment. Crisp. Little low hand pass towards Dacos. He sets it up right to the top of the square. Big fly from beside. Is Hoskin Elliott, but Lever's there. Hand passes away. Gets it away as quickly as he can. And it is going to be tossed back in with the Pies deep in attack.
Choice Hotels around the grounds. The Melbourne Storm just across the road from the MCG at Amy Park. Big win over the Titans, 32-14. Cam Munster with a hat-trick for the Melbourne Storm.
Back.
Big win for our favourite team here in this town, as picked up by Oliver deep in defence. Deasy and ahead to the wing. Oh, Melksham started really well. Big contested mark. There's been a bit of revelation coming back into the side to Max Gawn. Still 2 kicks from home. He's got Spargo presenting up. Maxi has popped that one out of bounds on the full, much to the delight of the Magpie Army.
It was the right option. It was the only one he had, actually. Spargo leading up because Collingwood had numbers behind the footy. Just poor execution from Gawn.
For Friday night feed, catch a quarter-pounder range meal and score a free Macca's glass. Start collecting today. So the ball transitioned by Collingwood across the back flank towards Quaynor. And sock up and sock down. He finds side bottom on the outer side in front of Langdon. Progresses it quickly towards Hoskin there. He's sandwiched between a couple of demons who went out. And it's Hibbard with a good ball to Viney, who made it even better by playing on. He tried to fashion a kick out wide to Brown, who went real Hollywood. Showtime stuff. Might work out to Spargo, who sends the ball towards Maxi. Gone! What about that for football? It was like the Harlem Globetrotters. And Max will line up 30 out, no angle.
So there's a big question mark at the moment. Who is on Max Gawn? Because Darcy Cameron's on the bench. Max Gawn sprinted to get this ball that he kicked out of bounds on the full before. I looked up and Mason Cox was centre half forward expecting the ball to come back. Now, nobody went to Max Gawn. So I can only imagine that Mason Cox is his man at the moment with Darcy Cameron on the bench. So with a Mason Cox got lost, but he was 100 metres away from him.
Well, Luke Jackson's out there as well, though, and he's very close to Luke Jackson, so hard to say.
He's a 56%er, set shot style, Maxi. And that percentage has gone down a touch as he tugs it from 30 out directly in front. Melbourne's first blemish, they're 4-1. The Pies are 2 straight on the Triple M Beacon Trade scoreboard. supporting tradies, 120 stores, expert trade teams, design services and a huge range of electrical accessories. Beacon makes every tradie's job easier.
It really is the positive that Melbourne have when you've got two big ruckmen dominating ruckman, and you can get lost. So opposition clubs, the whiteboard, it can get, okay, who's on Max now, who's on the other ruckman? We don't know at the moment, and you can get some mismatches, and that's how Max Gawn's been getting out.
So it's Jeremy Howe that has the job now.
Fullback kicking went out of bounds, and now on the wing, Ed Langdon. Magpie fans are going to boo him all night, as you can hear. Always find that a touch strange. Cozzy Pickett slides in. Noble picked it up on the second attempt, got it back to Maynard. Everything the Pies do under real pressure. Petty too strong again for Johnson. Really important part of this lineup, Harrison Petty. Allows Melbourne to play better. Howe launched. Spectacular attempt. Melksham's been outstanding. Max Gawn, snap around the body, floats it to the line. 2-on-1 back there. The two was the Pies defenders. Ben Brown has done pretty well to make sure that one went out of bounds, so they'll reset deep in attack. The Pies have got a 13-point lead. 8.5 minutes remaining in this first term.
Big fly from Howe. Mason Cox is in the contest as well. And he's rucking now, Big Meso, against Gawn. Spills towards Josh Dacos. Howe gives it to Josh Dacos. Happy to see the line. What are you seeing on the Reds Editors, Chulenko?
Well, the ground ball. Melbourne ranked number 1 in the comp. They're at +10. A bit of a concern for Collingwood in that particular stat. They're ranked 17th.
Contested possessions, Melbourne +12.
Carmichael starting the game today. He's been on the sub a couple of times as Josh. And he's been a handy inclusion late in the season. Looking to lock a spot down coming into finals. Josh Dacos off the boot, and it's across the line. Triple M Harvey Norman replay, the new Google Pixel 6a is available now at Harvey Norman DAS, plus you receive a bonus $150 gift card.
He's getting a great baptism, Carmichael, at different stages. He's playing on ball. He's had Oliver, he's had Petrarca, so it's a quick learn.
It's only a 13-point margin, but Melbourne just feel very comfortably in control of this game. Mason Cox gets it to the wing. Mychek overran it. Melbourne triangle defence we know so well goes to work. It was May and now Harrison Petty. Max Gawn finding some space. They've got winners, it feels, everywhere at the moment, the Ds. Max is about 60 out, no one on the mark. Takes a bit of ground and then hammers a big centering kick. Darcy Moore at the back was fisted into the corridor, beautifully taken by Pendlebury, who worked it through the hands of Murphy. One-on-one was Ginnivan. Out on the wing, he was manhandled by Trent Rivers. That's the first free kick he's been given for 8 weeks. And the Pies fans love it, Ginnivan. In fact, they're out of their chairs.
He's in the long sleeves. Great for the game is Jack Ginnivan. Big shorted type of man. He gives it to Maynard. Front of the Shane Warne. Stand on the outer side. Piercing ball. Hits the man we just mentioned, Joshy Carmichael. Oh, he hangs the ball up to Howe right in the middle of the MCG. It's open space. Mason Cox wants it inside 50. Goes in that direction now. Cox back with a flight. Brilliant mark. Brilliant mark by Cox. He went back with a flight. He knew heat was coming. And he stood up marked. 35 out.
Geez, he worked really hard for that Mason Cox. He started at half back. He tracked the wing. And then from the wing, almost where the point of the square interjects, he darted across. Jackson went with him the whole way. So Jackson was right on his hammer, but just a really strong mark in the end after really hard work. And now these are the ones that you need to suck in, the big ones, because you've just done a big run. You've taken a contested mark. You've gone to ground. You've got to get yourself back up and get your composure.
2-7 from set shots this year for Cox. And Big Tex just pops it right through the middle. The Pies answer with their third. 4-1-25 to Collingwood, 3 straight 18. That's all in your Triple M Beacon Trade scoreboard. And this is a cracking game of football.
Well done, Mason Cox. He needs to impose himself on this contest if Collingwood's going to win. Hey, let's not overlook the role that Josh Carmichael played either. He was the one, Harry, that you called with that vision on the wing. And even though it was a high ball, he saw how much space was in the middle. He was the one that squared it up, which then allowed the kick to go inside 50 to the advantage of Cox. It was really good vision from Carmichael.
Jason Dunstall, Nate Brown, Triple M Seabus Super Special comments.
It's a 50-metre square up to Jeremy Howe on the Harvey Norman replay.
Start to this game, 7-point lead to the D's, 4-1 to 3 straight. It has been a finals-like start to it. Cameron won it down. He was searching for DeGoey. Brayshaw fell over, inopportune time. McCreary picked it up. Brayshaw got hold of him. They've surged it to half forward here, the Magpies, where it's going to be thrown up on this members' wing side. Again, Cameron over the top. Petrarca crunched and a couple of tackles. Maynard and Jamie Elliott got hold of him. So on the point of the square at half forward for the Pies.
So it's 1-on-1 inside Collingwood's forward 50, and then Melbourne come up and make an extra around the football. So Collingwood have got the extra behind the footy.
Hunt to Brayshaw. Sends the ball down the line. It's touched. So Ben Brown needs to get rid of it. He didn't hear the call. Did really well to get it to Viney in the end. He just squeezes the ball forward. Might work out. The Demons through Jackson. Sends it towards Fritsch. Murphy. The Fritscher! Nice little hanger directly in front. And there is some quality football being played at both ends.
It's all about the timing when you take a mark like this. Well done to Ben Brown on centre wing. Got the late call, but the kick was perfect at the top of the square, and Fritsch just timed this beautifully. So he knew Murphy was coming in from the side, but he just jumped that little bit earlier than Murphy. So he's able to get up above Murphy's knee, put the knee into the chest, and then it was all his.
He is a phenomenal goal kicker, this man, Bailey Fritsch. From right in front, kicks his first. Melbourne get their fifth. 5-1-25 to the Pies, 3 straight 18. And that is all on your Triple M Beacon Trade scoreboard. And Fritsch, playing game number 105, has now kicked 162 goals. It's a nice return.
It is. Viney again involved in the build-up. It's Viney and Brayshaw doing the damage for the D's. They've had 20 possessions, 6 clearances and a goal between them. But the key to that was just reacting a little bit quicker to what was unfolding, Bailey Fritsch. So he gets back into position and he's able to attack the ball while Murphy's still coming back, trying to get a little bit of body on Fritsch. So he was able to run, jump a little bit early, get the set, take a good mark and kick the goal.
It's a fair few Collingwood players haven't touched the footy yet, Ash.
Yeah, Triple M, Red Z, Hoskin Elliott, Statless, Mychek yet to touch the pill, McCreary as well, and Young Johnson.
Melbourne enjoy a 13-point lead. Just under 5 minutes until quarter time. Here's Pendlebury. The class of that step to get around Oliver. He's done it since the very first day. And then the skill to Ash Johnson on the lead. Talk me through that, Brownie. It was unbelievable.
Well, you just come to the footy and you think that you've seen everything of Scotty Pendlebury, and then he does that again and you've seen it over and over. Clayton Oliver was just buying that. He was just holding the ball out to the left, then came back, and Clayton Oliver was full-chested to try and tackle him, and then the kick to finish it. It's okay to get around the player, but then the kick to finish was brilliant, and the mark was pretty handy as well.
Exciting player, Ash Johnson, just his 4th game. He's kicked 6 goals in his first 3. Pies fans love. He's a good celebrator too, Ash Johnson. He had a little bit of the arms flapping around. His teammates love him. They'll go back to Scott Pendlebury in game 353 and just give him the high fives as well. The superstar was massive in that. 5-1-31 Melbourne, 4 straight 24. That's Collingwood on the Triple M Beacon Trade scoreboard.
Well, he did so well, Duke. So he balked Clayton Oliver and then he got around him. But then he took 10 metres in front of him. So you might see a few players get around a player but then not take that ground in front of him. We saw Lipinski do it before, just hold on to the footy for a little bit longer. So he gets around Clayton Oliver, but then takes that 10 metres in front of him, which allows him to survey the scene. Okay, what have I got forward? Because I can quite easily dump it inside forward 50 now and let our forwards go to work, or I can take the space in front of me and try and make one of these forwards lead into space, and I can get the ball over the top of this zone that is set up.
Melbourne concede the least amount of marks inside their D58 per game. 3 out of the 4 majors from Collingwood.
Love it, Chewy. Thank you. Crisp. Elliott, here come the Pies again. His kick's smothered. Cameron gets out the side bottom. Good user inside 50. Low lead. Came from Johnson. Fisted away by Petty. Still in possession though, the Pies through to Goey. It's a squaring, screwy type ball towards Cox. Bounces in an unusual position. Comes down towards McCreary. Takes it in the square. Jaden Hunt gets him. Still tries to bullock his way through. And the umpire will toss it up with Collingwood deep in attack. Right in the goal square. And there's a couple of pretty vocal Melbourne fans there. Just suggesting that maybe it was a free kick.
Cox got the first hit out. Jamie Elliott tackle, brilliant. Got to be rewarded. Game 150 directly in front of goal. And that is huge, Chief. coaches love that sort of result, isn't it, from forward pressure?
Well, we saw one at the other end, didn't we? Salem with a great tackle on Dacos, went back and kicked the goal. Now Jamie Elliott gets the opportunity to do it at the other end. Hibbard was looking for the hand pass, didn't have an option, and by the time he tried to get it onto the boot, he was pinged. He was gone.
Angus Brayshaw got up a bit sore out of that contest as well. Tommy Brown will get you to keep an eye on him. What a start to this game. Massive crowd at the G. Played at breakneck speed, and we got 5 goals apiece. Jamie Elliott's got a couple. Melbourne by 1 point. Triple M Beacon Trade scoreboard.
10 entries, Collingwood so far for 5 goals straight. So this great Melbourne defence has been under the pump, and it's been the pace that the ball has gone in there at. I mean, it has been end to end. Both sides have been electric with their ball movement, but 5 straight for 10 entries. Simon Goodwin would be concerned with how easy they're kicking goals in forward half.
Bob Jane T-Mart, I look after you. Buy 3, get 1 free, instant cashback. Top tyre brands. 13 26 25 is the number, or order online today, bobjane.com.au. Tommy.
Angus Brayshaw will start in this stoppage, but he is limping and testing his left leg, so keep a close eye on it.
Thank you, Brownie.
Melbourne only +1 in the clearances, so Collingwood doing a good job in there.
10 goals for the opening term. Sees Melbourne leading 5-1 to the Pies, 5 straight by a point. Cameron, Gawn from hands and knees, just scoops a handball forward. Crisp, not getting through the Petrarca, Neil Bullen double tackle. So the ball progressed about 15 metres from the centre, circles towards the Melbourne goals. Gawn, down towards Oliver. And as far as Nick Dacos sees something he likes in Jamie Elliott. It was a clever kick, just put it out in front of him. Elliott's got 2 in his 150th. Goes short to De Goey. So Collingwood happy to just take a bit of speed out of the game. Now to side bottom, centre wing. Hand passes out in front of Nick Dacos. It wasn't the best handball. Nick Dacos is good enough to pick it up. Dumped in a tackle, Carmichael. And then Hoskin Elliott sees across the line in front of the Shane Warne stand. Half forward for the Pies, who trail by a point. 2 minutes 12 to go in the first term after 10 majors have been kicked in the opening stanza.
Nick Dacos' first quarter, please, Chew Man.
8 touches.
And Reds Ed lending stats. An incredible first year. Side bottom really clean, and then had a fresh area as he tried to get boot to ball, picked up by Gawn. Brown came at it. Viney's been incredible in this first term. Flicked it back to Brayshaw, who's been equally as good. Little left footer. Wanted to put it in the path of Brown and went charging after it. Numbers back there for defence with Collingwood, and that was beautifully done. Left foot kick. Jack Crisp got it to Cameron. He sticks it out wide. Shane Warne stands side to Goey. Slides a ball in low. Elliott has got a couple of first quarter goals to side bottom. Put a little bit of a move on to get around Langdon. Langdon was up to it. Back to Pendlebury. Centering kick, sliding in and taking the mark. A true half-back is Christian Salem for Melbourne.
McDonald's and Remont Water, Triple M Rocks footy. Salem kicked the second goal of the night for the Demons. Good work by Petrarca in the air to Max Gawn. He's caused a few problems already. Back to Petrarca. Explodes powerfully forward. Puts it out in the path of Fritsch. Josh Dacos. Fritsch. Josh Dacos. Fritsch. Oh, look at that. Just gives it off to Cozzy Pickett. It's another one for Melbourne. It's raining goals at the MCG. 6-1 the Demons. The Pies 5 straight. 7 points down, 59 seconds to go in the first term. We've had 11, Chief, in the first term.
Oh, it's been outstanding football, going one end to the other really quickly. They got a couple out ahead of the football, but we spoke about a high five earlier for Jack Viney from Simon Goodwin. Yep. He would love what he just saw then. Bailey Fritsch got criticised a number of times, probably 4 or 5 weeks ago, for being selfish, for torching players, going in search of goals because he just wants to keep chalking up the goals. He picked the best option. He could have gone for the little snap once he wrapped that ball up, but it wasn't just about giving it off. It was giving it off to the right person, the right option. And he found Pickett back in the goal square, who strolled in for the easiest of goals. Really good player.
It's a unique player, Bailey Fritsch. Very hard to match up on. Good overhead, good at ground level. De Goey at his pocket, picked by Cozzy. Now they're coming again here, Melbourne. Langdon got it to Oliver, got it back to Cozzy. 45 seconds until the quarter time siren. To the goal line, back with a fly. Courageous attempt from Fritsch, picked up by Jackson. Petrarca smothered off his boot by Darcy Moore, and then getting in, Nick Dacos put his head over it. And they've got out of jail there, the Pies, in the last line of defence.
Gee, there was some intent from that tackle by Maynard on Petrarca, so he just didn't waltz into an open goal. Intense opening term, Chewy, on the stat sheet. What are you liking?
Well, definitely their pressure rating still way up for both teams. Collingwood 200, Demons at 190.
Cameron might be running out of time for a score. Going as far as Salem. 4 seconds on the clock. Time looks like it'll beat him.
50.
Oh, 50! And there was 0 seconds left on the clock. The logo had come up. The clock was done. And Salem will waltz in. And what's he going to kick it from? 40, 35, 35 out for a second. What was it for? I was concentrating on the play.
Moving on the mark, Ash Johnson.
So Salem now with the eyes of the MCG on him. Kicked the second goal of the night for the Demons. This to make it a 12-goal term and a 13-point lead to Melbourne if Christian Salem can kick the goal. Bit of a scratch on his nose. He's got the blonde tips growing out, the beard. Being booed by Collingwood fans. There's 4 of them on the mark. Salem trots back and slides it to the right. What a term of football. Melbourne 6-2-38. Collingwood at 5 straight 30. The Demons by 8 points at quarter time on a Friday night cracker. McDonald's and Remote Water. Triple M Rocks football.
That quarter for Beacon Trade, supporting tradies with over 120 stores, expert trade teams, design services and a huge range of electrical accessories. Beacon, making every tradie's job easier.
For McDonald's,
Triple M rocks footy.
For a Friday night feed, catch a quarter pounder range meal and score a free Macca's glass. Start collecting today.
Hi, it's Marty Sheargold. Right now, Triple M rocks footy, and we're back on Monday. And at 8:30, we'll wrap up the round with Scott Pendlebury.
Interstate teams in the MCG, is the fixture unfair?
Well, it's unfair for locals as well. I think the Roo boys have got one game at the G this year.
Exactly right.
Well, the Roos are calling Marvel the Fortress this year for good reason.
The Northcross.
The Northcross.
The Marty Sheargold Show. Weekdays from 6 on Melbourne's 105.1 Triple M.
It's value the Australian way at Coles with great fresh specials this week. Like juicy Afura mandarins, 100% Aussie and just $2.90 a kilo. This week at Coles. Offer ends Thursday.
Harvey Norman, official partner of the Commonwealth Games Australia. The Combi Wave by Breville, featuring air fry technology, is just $679, save $70, plus bonus cooking pack. Bonus coffee starter pack with Barista Express Impress from Breville, only $8.99. All Breville Smart Oven Pizzaiolo with bonus pizza pack and create authentic pizzas at home. Now $9.99. Bonus fire redemption. Harvey Norman, official partner of the Commonwealth Games Australia.
From first-time browsing to big-time arousing, Sexyland is all about fun. We have Australia's biggest range of sexy costumes, couples' toys, fun gifts and games for adults. And our team of fun specialists are always here to help in-store and online. Sexyland 11 stores open 7 days until midnight in Melbourne and Geelong, or shop online and get 2-hour delivery.
Hi, Ursula Carlson here, and I don't know about you, but some things just really me to death. So in my podcast, That's Enough Already, my guests and I will highlight all of the things that us, just in case you've missed it.
I took up magic tricks as my lockdown hobby, and it ironically made my girlfriend disappear.
Search That's Enough Already podcast. Download the Listener app now and listen for free.
Listener.
Every green light on the way to work? That's pretty good. Woohoo! Yeah! Almost as good as the massive 50% off you get on all TPG mobile plan fees for the first 6 months. That's right. For the first 6 months, get 12 gigs of data for just $10 a month, all on a no lock-in contract. TPG. New TPG mobile customers only. For use in Oz, $20 a month after the first 6 months. T's and C's apply.
It's that time of the week. Furphy Footy Friday. From the first bounce to the bar, it's time to crack one, tell one. Furphy. Unbelievable. Drink responsibly.
While truckies support Australia, Shell has been supporting truckies since 1901, making road transport easier, safer and more efficient. And for Shell card holders, we're making it more economical as well. Talk to us today about a fuel discount for your business and save every time you refuel. It doesn't matter if you run one truck or a whole fleet. All you need is a valid ABN to apply for your Shell card now at shell.com.au/truck network.
Triple M rocks footy.
This quarter for Foxtel. 4K Ultra HD. The best way to watch AFL. Only available on Foxtel.
Outstanding first term. Melbourne 6-2-38. Pies 5 straight 30. Melbourne leading by 8 points. Elliott's kicked a couple and has been a star in his 150th. Bob Jane T-Marts, they always look after you at Bob Jane. Buy 3, get 1 free, plus instant cash back on top tyre brands. Call 13 26 25 or order online today, bobjane.com.au. Tommy!
Howie, an incredible atmosphere down here. It sort of just feels a little bit like a final tonight. In terms of the injuries from the first quarter, none to report. Pendle's had his left hand worked on at one point, but he's A-OK clearly. And Brayshaw had a little bit of a limp, but it seems is fine as well. I'll pose a question rather than answer one, Howie, for the team. Jordan De Goey, 9 touches and a goal. A lot of news discussion at the moment about what will happen to him at the end of the year and whether he'll go to St Kilda. He's pretty important without Adams.
He's been very, very good tonight, has Jordan De Goey.
He has 4 clearances along with his possession, so he's been huge around the footy. It's just a cracking game. A little advantage in the clearances, a little bit of territory in favour of Melbourne, but Collingwood are being very efficient. They look like scoring when they go forward, so it's hard to find anyone with the edge at the moment. Brownie, I really like the way the contest has unfolded in the first term.
Yeah, there's been one-on-ones everywhere. The only time that they've slipped a number behind the football has been at a boundary throw-in or a stoppage. So as soon as there's a boundary throw-in or a stoppage, 2 players go either end. But outside that, they play one-on-one. It is the breakneck speed. So you've got to ask the question, who can keep it up the longest? Who is the better side at running and carrying and using the football at breakneck speed in this game? We're going to find out.
Just look at the Harvey Norman replay, a bit of byplay in the first minute of the first quarter. 5 Collingwood players tackled Ed Langdon, Chief. They
without giving away the free kick, though, Duke. They made a point and they did it the right way. It was brilliant.
It's been an entertaining start to this game. So second quarter for McDonald's and Ream, hot water, Triple M Rocks footy. We're underway. The Demons have got an 8-point lead. It was shinned forward by Max Gawn. Jordan off the wing, got it back to Max. He thought about the handball and then had enough composure to kick it long. Howe, Ben Brown, slapped to ground, picked up by Neil Bull, and he was well tackled by De Goey. And the Pies are defending at the punt road end of the MCG. And now they've got a chance to reload again. Mason Cox slides down. Ben Brown doing some ruck work. Howe well tackled immediately. Maynard kicks it back into the corridor. Important one-on-one. Lipinski got outplayed there. It was Trent Rivers who got him right on the forward 50 arc, and he might fancy his chances here, Nate.
He's a big kick of the footy, Duke. He's a really big kick of the football. He went back, he steadied himself. Everyone was leading, and he just said, "No, calm it down, boys. I've got this."
15 gone.
Had a 5-week stint in the VFL. Played the last 2, Trent Rivers, but he will know that he's playing for a permanent spot come September. He's opened up the angle a little bit, got underneath this one, and it won't make the journey on the back of it. Mason Cox, pretty good defensive spoil out of bounds. So 6-2-38 Melbourne, 5 straight are the Magpies on the Triple M Foxtel scoreboard.
Big crowd in the house. A lot of rain around Melbourne about 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock locally, but it's disappeared for the moment. Cracking opening term. Cox and Brown gets through everyone. Nick Dacos to Pendlebury. That just look like similar footballers, those two, and that's a compliment and a half to the younger Dacos. Pendlebury just spirals it out to space. Jordan and towards Spargo. Lever. A triangle chain they set up. The Demons, they chip the ball forward. A little bit too much on it for Neil Bullen. Caught with the footy is Viney. A couple of Pies sit on top of him. The umpire will need to separate them with Melbourne leading by 8 points.
Good tackle from Jack Crisp on that occasion. 183rd straight game this week for the Crisper. Unbelievable. 9th longest streak ever in the history of the game, and there's a bit going on. Mason Cox has clipped Max Gawn.
Came in with the knees. So brought the knee up first and then got Max right in the guts.
Have a look at the Harvey Norman replay. He does that a bit, Mason Cox, where he doesn't jump off the ground. It's a bit crude, that tactic. Free kick, fair enough to Max Gawn. Launching in, Bailey Fritz started really well. Maynard picks it up off his toes, jams it down the line. Max Gawn went back and took a good contested mark. It's going to come back inside 50 for the D's.
It's a strong mark if you just caught one in the rib cage.
Sure is. The crowd getting really involved. Murphy floats back, should have taken the mark. Falls to Petrarca, hooks it. Narrow, just off the boot of Christian. Melbourne is 6-3. The Pies are 5 straight on the Triple M Foxtel scoreboard. They give you 4K Ultra HD, the best way to watch AFL, only available on Foxtel. Langdon picks it up, goes inside 50. He's got a target, and that target is the wily Melksham.
He's been busy, Melksham. Been really busy tonight. He's probably been their best forward so far, most dangerous forward apart from possibly Fritsch. Needs to finish off his hard work here.
He's 30 out, about 3 metres inside the boundary in front of the Shane Warne stand. What's he going to do? Is he going to go for a drop punt or a little check?
Going to go to left snap.
Okay, round the corner, Stevie J special for Jakey Boy for the first of the second term. Got it in the fat part of the footy and just snuck it through for one behind. Melbourne are 6-4. The Pies are 5 straight. 17 minutes to go in the second term on the Triple M Foxtel scoreboard.
A couple of let-offs for the Pies. We saw Murray drop a mark. Petrarca had a shot for goal. And then it was Sidebottom on the other side who dropped the mark.
Mason Cox juggled, attempted mark, couldn't complete it. Oliver went the forward handball. In the way was Murphy for Collingwood. And he's just felt a bit of pressure there, perceived or otherwise, and popped it out of bounds on the full. So it's just a 10-point lead to Melbourne.
Did I say Murray before?
Yeah.
I meant Murphy, my apologies.
Jakey Lever will be able to send it back, and he dumps it looking for Max Gawn. He edged Mason Cox underneath it, picked up by Petrarca to Oliver. They're pressing big time here, the D's. Crunch of players. Langdon somehow's taken a mark on his chest. There's some body strewn on the ground. Melbourne players get around Trenton Rivers, but Ed Langdon has found the right timing, the right spot.
And take your hat off to him. I mean, he got besieged when he first got the ball in this game. And the D's Collingwood made a point of saying, if you're going to shoot your gob off during the week, we're going to give it to you. He stood under a ball there with plenty of traffic around him. Well done.
Good point you make, Chief. 24-28 career set shots. Ed Langdon directly in front. Punt road end to the MCG. And Ed Langdon kicked it straight through. Stood up to the pressure, as Jason Dunstall said. He's got a smile on his dial. On the back of that, 7-4-46 Melbourne, 5 straight. Collingwood 16-point lead in favour of Melbourne there. Giving it to big Maso Cox a bit here too after that goal. So the Triple M Foxtel scoreboard, 16-point lead to the D's.
They fell into the trap that Melbourne want you in their web. So the game was played. We're at 5.5 minutes in. The game has been exclusively played in Melbourne's half of the ground in this quarter, inside 50 to 25-11. So yes, Melbourne should be winning, but Collingwood just couldn't get the ball out. So the mistake they made, a couple of times they got the ball, they just dumped it out of defensive 50. Didn't look where they were kicking it. One went out of bounds on the full, one went out to the other side where it came back in. They need to be able to use hands, run and carry, take the ground in front of them and put pressure on Melbourne. If they get the footy and they just kick it back up the line, Melbourne are going to suck that up.
Triple M Seabus Super Specials. Seabus Super making hard work pay off. You got Brownie and the Chief as Angus Brayshaw sends the ball inside 50. Big Max had his name all over it.
She's been good.
Outstanding. Mark number, Chewy.
Mark number 5, and he's the equal leading ball winner with 13 touches.
Caused them all sorts of trouble in the first quarter, Max. So he was starting forward, then he'd come into the ruck, but then he'd go forward when Jackson came back off the bench and nobody knew who was picking him up. So he got lost in the rollover a couple of times with Mason Cox and also Jeremy Howe. Now he goes forward, takes a big, strong contested mark. What a player.
He'll line up from about 40, only on a slight angle, Big Max. He's had one attempt at the other end from directly in front from 25, which he hooked. Deliberate approach. And he starts it out to the right, and his hands are in the air as if to say, what am I doing?
He was kicking it quite well, probably 6 to 8 weeks ago. But now he's just dropped off.
They haven't been punished yet. 7-0 the inside 50s in the second term.
Pies have coughed it up again here, and Langdon's going to send Melbourne back into attack. Spiraled that, which is an unusual decision. He had more time, kicked it out of bounds on the full. So 7-5-47 to 5 straight 30. It's 12 scoring shots to 5, but just a 17-point margin in favour of Melbourne. Nick Dacos was long down the line. Lipinski picked it up, set upon immediately by a number of Melbourne midfielders with a tackle. Brayshaw wrapped it up right under the Shane Warne stand sign on that outer wing side here at the MCG. It's going to be thrown up.
Right in front of the Shane Warne stand. Then towards Pendlebury. Oliver. And Hare flowing behind him. Brayshaw hooks the ball down towards Max Gordon Maynard. Tough man. Maynard. What game number is he playing, Maynard? Chewy?
Triple M Red Z, Braden Maynard, Howie, game number 156.
He doesn't miss many. Langdon, Salem, Petty, Salem, 20-metre ball to Petrarca. Just looks powerful and fit as Petrarca. He pulled the kick in the end and hit Tommy Sparrow right on 50. He'd have to kick it.
He'd be disappointed with that last kick, Braden Maynard. That was set up for the switch and he didn't even look. He just blasted it straight back up the line to an outnumbered scenario.
It's exactly what Melbourne want you to do, Chief.
Has he got the legs of the man from Bridgewater Noodles?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, 22-year-old. 5 goals, 5 this season. 15 career goals in his 46 games before tonight. Tommy makes the distance easily. Gets the accuracy easily as well. Slams it home. Melbourne have got the opening 2 and 3 in a row, and they've opened up a 23-point game-high margin. 8-5 to 5 straight. Trouble for the Pies. Triple M. Foxtel scoreboard. 4K Ultra HD. The best way to watch AFL, only available on Foxtel.
For some reason, all of a sudden, Collingwood are just bombing the ball out of the defensive 50. I'd love to know the time in the forward half in this quarter, but the first quarter, every time Collingwood got the football, they run and carried. They use hands and they really pressed the Melbourne defence. But this quarter, every time they get it, it's just bombing it straight back. Again, you spoke about it. Maynard just kicked it in hope. 97% the game has been played in Melbourne's half of the ground in this quarter.
Tom Brown, Bob Jane T-Marts.
Mason Cox got booed coming off. He called for the crowd for more. Welcomed it, in fact. So it was a bit of theatrics.
Thank you, Tommy. 23-point lead to Melbourne. Next goal, super important. You feel beautiful pick up. Josh Dacos out of the centre to Ginnivan. Took a good mark in front of the eyes at half forward. Streaming ahead, the Pies. Looking for some connection. He set the challenge deep into the corridor. Ash Johnson came at it. These defenders got back there. And Jamie Elliott has done it again, I reckon, here with another big tackle that will result in almost a gimme goal.
Yeah, it was right in front, so his defensive work's been excellent. He probably would have been better hanging on to it. Jordan, unfortunately, just released it. Didn't look like a clear hand pass, and the umpires pinged him. If he hangs on to it, it's probably a ball up for no prior opportunity.
It's a huge effort from Jamie Elliott here. If he can kick his third, 2 of them on the back of forward 50 tackles. It's a big contribution. Pulled it slightly, but no dramas. It gets home. Elliott gets his third. That's massive for the Pies. They're 6 straight 36. 8-5-53 Melbourne on the Triple M Foxtel scoreboard.
They just need to get it in there more often. So they've only had it in there once this quarter, and they've scored. So they've scored 5 straight from 10 entries in probably 28 minutes of football in the first quarter, and then their first entry inside forward 50. So they need to start winning the clearances. They need to start getting their hands on the football around the contest, because they're pushing Melbourne's defenders when they go forward. Melbourne's defenders are under pressure. They haven't been able to handle it so far tonight. The tackle pressure inside their forward 50 has been really good. They just need to get in there more often.
Yeah, it was Josh Dacos who's gone into the middle of the ground, Brownie. He got that last centre bounce clearance. That's where they got their inside 50 from. They need more of it, the Pies.
Career best snags for Jamie Elliott, Chew, when you get a moment.
Yeah, Triple M, 6 majors is his PB.
Okay, so he's halfway there in the halfway point of the second term on track. Here's the man they call Billy in his 150th. He started in the middle there as well. Clever hand pass to Oliver. Hugged the ground with it. Jackson. Salem. Now running forward to the ball is Rivers with a high hit inside 50. Ben Brown hasn't been a factor yet. Melksham has been. Darcy Moore to Lipinski, the former Dog. Sends it towards centre wing. Elliott faces the other way. Salem brings it to ground. Myercheck back in the side also hasn't been a factor. Good tackle by Salem on Carmichael. Now they come. The umpire lets the boys go. It's caught between Carmichael's legs. 53-36 is the lead for Melbourne. 11:41 to go before the halftime break on the Triple M Foxtel scoreboard. 4K Ultra HD. The best way to watch AFL. Only available on Foxtel.
Throw it up right in front of Tommy Brown here on the members' wing. The interchange race side. Cameron, he's taken clean possession, and Jackson dumped him in the tackle. Bit of leniency from the umpires there. It's right in front of Simon Goodwin, who's taken the chance to issue a few instructions to his midfielders. Jackson, brilliant athleticism, picked it up in the one motion. The impressive Carmichael, only as far as Salem. They might pay advantage here. They're going to take it. Neil Bullen wants to find Brown. Well-weighted kick. Nick Dacos on the mark. Melksham the deepest forward. Terrible kick. Put it straight into the lap of Jeremy Howe.
And just held up his hand like they do in the inner ring, Chief, in cricket when they want the bloke in the outfield to come and grab it. Apologising did Ben Brown. It's an average turnover to Noble, to Quainer.
Outside 5.
Mentioned earlier on, he's got the right sock up and the left sock down. There's Isaac. Powerful looking character. Plays on away from Langdon. Sends it to a contest on the wing. Johnson, who's really good in the air.
He's got good hands and he likes to play in front. The natural forward craft about him.
He's a rangy type of bloke. He reminds me a bit of Jack Gunston as the ball goes towards the line. Hoskin Elliott can't keep it away from Lever. Now just toe pokes it forward to Carmichael. Lipinski, clever tap to Myercheck. Steps through traffic, gets the snap away. Top shelf finish. Well done the Pies and Lipinski and Myercheck. Now Collingwood get 2 in a row to bring it back to an 11-pointer. Melbourne 8-5, Collingwood 7 straight, 10:22 to go second term. Triple M Foxtel scoreboard.
I think almost the most important stat or the most important player on the side these days, Chief, is that release kick outside defensive 50 when you've got no other option like Collingwood had then, and they go down the line and somebody takes a contested mark on centre wing. I thought Tom Lynch changed the game last week against West Coast, against Brisbane when he did that, and again on that occasion it was a big mark from Johnson on centre wing, and it just breaks up the game open because all of a sudden Melbourne are all defending. They've all got their zone defence around Johnson, and he's just able to get over the top of 6 or 7 of them, and then that creates a chain on flow.
Been a tough night for Myercheck, Stephen May as an opponent, but if you make your possessions count, he's only had the 2, but he gets a goal on the board now. 31-15 the inside 50s. This is frightening. They're in a great position, Collingwood, given the lack of territory.
A couple of really important goals against the flow. Mason Cox into the centre bounce. Brayshaw, the kick's going to be okay, finds Viney. Viney's little chip wanted Max Gore. Max had to come back at it. Wasn't ideal for the big man. Won by Petrarca. The handball from Jordan is going to come back to Jake Lever. Put on a bit of a move. Petrarca, he saw Ginnivan and said, I'll take advantage of you. Little Jack got him. And now here come the Pies. Although the Josh Dacos handball missed the mark, Myercheck had to go back and search for it. Opens the door now for May. He was wrapped up by Dacos. Flicks it back inboard. Here's Jordan to Viney. All happening on the AFL logo members wing. Well played, the D's. They get it to Luke Jackson.
Game being played at scintillating pace. The ball pinging around as Jackson goes deep. Melksham, but Darcy Moore outmarks everybody. The impressive Darcy Moore and the number 30. Gee, it's a gutsy ball straight down the line towards DeGoey, who plays it really well because he took the ball underneath him, let it get out the back. Now puts it in the path of Hoskin Elliott. He's forward of the foot. He's got Johnson deep. He's got DeGoey. He might go alone. Hoskin Elliott. In the end, he does neither. Sort of chipped it to the top of the square.
Just a horrible kick.
Awful.
An absolutely horrible kick. If you take the shot, you've got to make the distance. Otherwise, you set up a pass. He had options. He was entitled to shoot for goal. He was running straight at it. He settled himself. Just didn't make a good contact. Opportunity gone for the Pies.
10-point lead to the Demons, 53-43.
Did all the hard work there, Collingwood, and let themselves down with a finish. Here is Howe. Smashes it back into the corridor. Strong tackle pressure applied. There was 3 Magpies involved in it. Chris Pendlebury and Carmichael, and they keep it at half forward. Mason Cox got over Gawn. Slapped it only as far as Salem, though, and that was a well-weighted kick. Finds Alex Neil-Bullen on the wing.
Neil-Bullen And the number 30 drops it towards Ben Brown. Needs to take the mark. Can't. As he's hit from both sides. Howe caught in a tackle by Melksham, who's been one of Melbourne's better players. What are you seeing on the Red Zeds, Chulenko?
Yeah, Viney, 11 disposals in the first quarter in a major, just the 2 in this term, but Brayshaw leads away with 17.
Ream Hot Water built tough Aussie conditions when it comes to water heating. Ask your plumber to install a Ream.
Thrown up on the forward 50 for the D's. Mason Cox socketed off the ground. Brayshaw gets it to Petrarca. His kick was in the Murphy direction. Spills now. Pickett has got a live footy. Look how dangerous Cozzy is. There's nervous moments coming up for the Collingwood defenders. Pickett couldn't quite access the Sharon, and pretty happy that it's over for a boundary throw in left forward pocket. Punt road end. That's where the D's are in attack. 8 minutes until half time, and Melbourne 53-43 with a 10-point lead. Jackson fisted back and gained a bit of meterage to Mason Cox, but we'll do it again inside forward 50 for Melbourne.
It was Melbourne by 8 points at quarter time. They lead by 10. What did they get out to, Chewy? 20 odd?
Yeah, Triple M Res 23.
Before Elliott and Myercheck kicked the last 2 for Collingwood. 8 minutes to go. And the umpire will toss it back in with Melbourne in attack. Mason Cox has been really physical in the ruck. He's had his knees up to try and counter Gawn. Now he's got the young Luke Jackson, and he does well with 2 hands to it, only as far as Pickett. Now Petrarca doesn't have time to size someone up, so dumps it to the square, and Howe takes the mark all the way back at fullback.
What an unbelievable player, Jeremy Howe. So good at reading the ball. Side bottom's got it. Shane Warne stands side of the MCG, half back. 8-5 to 7-1. Melbourne by 10 points. Side bottom happy with the change of direction play. They get it all the way back over to this members' side. Back to Howe, who started it all. Melbourne shift their zone. Quainer is the next link in the chain.
Plus 18 contested possessions, Melbourne. Plus 11 in the clearances. And plus 21 in inside 50s. They only have a 10-point lead.
Unbelievable Reds had lending numbers there. Nate Brown. As Stephen May stands up. We've seen him do that so often. That intercept mark, half back for Melbourne. So
the only dangerous thing for Melbourne is we've seen them get overrun in second halves by a few clubs, Collingwood being one of them this year, Fremantle and Sydney the other ones.
Brayshaw, inside 50 ball is really clever to Brown, and Nate, you don't want to get in a tight one with Collingwood the way they're going.
No.
So Brown, his first real opportunity towards goal, he's going to play on. It's going to take a big hook kick from 40. It's a good finish by Ben Brown. Hooks it round, and even he looks impressed by his own work. Melbourne break a run of 2 and take it back out to 16 points, 9-5 to 7-1. 59 to 43, 6:26 to go before the halftime break.
You need change of direction against this footy club. Need change of direction every time you move the ball. So if you go long down the line, Stephen May's going to mark it every time, or fist it away, or lever will get it, comes back the other way, and Melbourne scores.
It's a quality finish. To kick around the corner from that far out from goal is not easy. You have to strike the ball perfectly. And that is a massive, massive finish for Ben Brown, who struggled to get into the game. He started okay early, looked dangerous leading up the ground, but really had been very well held by Jeremy Howe. But there's a few Collingwood players that need to get involved in the game. In the second term, DeGoey, Sidebottom, Crisp and Pendlebury have all had 1 possession each, and that is it.
Got the Chief with his 1,254 goals. Got Nate Brown, best player in the game, for 10 rounds. Triple M Seabus Super Special comments. It couldn't be in better hands on a Friday night. Pendlebury just pulled the kick late. Ginnivan direction, cleverly done from Ginnivan, just shepherded it in the way of Josh Dacos. Inside forward 50. Elliott's been enormous. Lipinski down there. Got a little handball to Johnson. Put it over the top. Myercheck goes back to Elliott. They converge from everywhere. Demons defenders with good Myercheck off the ground. Missed. Good pressure from Melbourne. 15-point lead. 9-5 to 7-2. The D's in front with the Triple M Foxtel scoreboard.
They did well in defence there, Melbourne. Looked like they were certain to give up a goal.
Did they? What, Howard?
Flooded in, Nate.
And Jake Lever ran into his teammates as if they'd scored a goal. He had his fist pumping in the air for that effort defensively.
Brown growing in confidence. Mark in front of Jay Howe. Not an easy thing to do. Fritsch wants it in a hurry. They go that way now and set the Fritcher a task. He hits the pack hard and splits it. Nick Dacos,
14 touches.
14 touches. What's his efficiency?
He's going at 70%.
That's what he does. Lipinski on the outer side. He's got Steele side bottom. Progresses it further to Mychek, who now starting to get his hands on the footy. He marks in front of the Shane Warne stand on the outer side of the mighty MCG with close to 70, if not more, in the house. On a perfect Friday night for footy. Collingwood just chipping it around now on the AFL logo to Maynard. Runs around Melksham on the mark. Low slider towards Johnson. Big fly. Ben Brown's working in defence. Melbourne are caught with the footy. Hunt stripped of the footy. And then Carmichael will throw an errant boot in. Not a bit lucky to get out of that Melbourne without a holding the ball decision.
Wife's fans in that pocket of the MCG as we look at the Harvey Norman replay screen. That's
Neil Bullen should have been pinged first up for that.
Just dropped the footy on the tackle.
Petrarca, in the meantime, has been able to clear it. Howe launched at it. Beautifully done, Nick Dacos. And then he was well tackled, incorrect disposal. So 50.
Oh, 50.
It's going to go against Howe, and that'll be massive.
What about the hand that Viney got in that marking contest? He was completely out of position. Collingwood looked like they're going to mark it and go back the other way, and Viney just willed himself to get a hand of the contest to bring the ball to ground.
So the 50-metre penalty is huge. It gives Bailey Fritsch a legitimate shot at goal. He'll have to kick it about 50 metres, well within his capabilities for the Fritcher. Who started this game in really good touch, Bailey Fritsch. And he loved that one off the boot, and he turns to the D's fans and he gives them a big celebration. That's goal number 45 for the year for Bailey Fritsch. What a season he's putting together. Melbourne extend their margin back out. 10-5-65, 7-2-44 Collingwood. It is all the Triple M Foxtel scoreboard.
Spoke to Simon Goodwin pre-game, asked him about their goal kicking because from set shots, they're the worst team in the competition. See, they finished well tonight, a number of set shots that have gone through. Really, really good completion of those scoring opportunities. That's what you've got to take if you want to beat the good teams. All of a sudden now they start to open up a little bit of a break. Nothing they don't deserve because they've been the dominant team in this first half, particularly in the second term.
When they're kicking goals, they're celebrating with the crowd. It's like they're just showing people again, Nate, that we are the premiers. Don't worry about we've had a little run of form. We're the real deal and we're out here to prove it tonight. Just got that feel to it. Back in the middle we go. Here we go again. They're flexing the proverbial muscle of Melbourne. Viney with a 1-2 gets it back. Sends it forward on the left. Hits Big Maxi. And this is where he can unload from. Right on 50. He wants to go the short ball. It's a little high one inside 50. Falls to the ground. Oliver arrives like the battering ram that he is. Just squeezing a kick forward, but dumping it out on the full is Jim Bob Jordan. 3:29 to go. 21-point lead to the Demons, 65-44. As we have a look at both coaches on the Triple M Harvey Norman replay, the new Google Pixel 6a available now at Harvey Norman, plus you receive a bonus $150 gift card.
Important minutes in this game leading to half-time. Look at Max Gawn again, another contested mark, two-man. Max Gawn.
He's taken 7 marks in total. That's his second contested mark.
How many touches?
Along with his 17 touches.
Big first half, isn't it? The Melbourne ruckman, Darcy Moore, drifts across. Takes a good intercept mark. So with 3 minutes until half-time, Pies, you just don't want to concede again. They'd love to try and pitch one back against the run of play here at the moment. Murphy, Mychek and Johnson. Johnson went up and down without a real look at the ball. Picked up by Hoskin Elliott to Jamie Elliott. Mychek works hard back. Lipinski down the line. Jamie Elliott, it's a bit of a lazy attempt to kick. He's put it out of bounds on the full.
Had a bit of time. Hitting a target would have eased a little bit of the pressure.
Steele side bottoms covered 8K. Ed Langdon 7.9. Neil Bullen 7.1 alongside Lever. And Nick Dacos also on 7.1 on the Reds Edders. Salem sends it down the line to Ben Brown. He's been a good inclusion, Ben Brown. Wiedemann unfortunately didn't make the most of his opportunities. Oscar Elliott sends it around the corner, and again it's Salem that spoils it across the line right in front of Tommy Brown. It's a 21-point lead to the Demons, 2:25 to go. Jamie Elliott has got 3 goals for the Pies in game 150.
Shouldn't forget what Brownie mentioned earlier. It's 3 or 4 times this year they've led by 20 or 30 points and been run down, the D's.
Saw Simon Goodwin on the Harvey Norman replay. Strand saw something that didn't please him. You don't see him get animated too often, but barking some instructions there at ground level. Beautiful little handball in there from Pendlebury. And it's got out now to Maynard. Jamie Elliott's a good-looking kick. Elliott, the good overhead mark. Pretty well done defensively. Hibberd, Myercheck. Good tackle. He got wrapped up by Jaden Hunt. And he's come up with a play that resulted in holding the ball short. Kick finds Spargo.
Big play by Hibberd.
It's just having one of those nights, Brody Myercheck. I know he's kicked a goal, but things aren't working for him. Not finding much of it, and when he does, he's under pressure.
Salem likes the short option of James Jordan. Playing gum name, but 45, the man from Yarrawonga. Sends a 60-metre ball straight down the outside wing. Big fly! Lukey Jackson above the pack. Nice little bit of hang time. 1:21 on the clock. So much speculation around this man. He keeps doing that, he'll be right wherever he goes. Decides to land at about 25 from home. Ben Brown goes a touch early. Falls to Fritsch. Rare miss from the Fritcher. He was in the zone on the snap, 20 out. And he missed to the near side. 10-6 to 7-2 the way of Melbourne. 22-point margin. The D's, 1:03 to go before half-time as Darcy Moore brings the ball back into play.
Goes straight through the corridor. Pendlebury could have released De Goey. De Goey,
not sure why he didn't.
Yeah, still a bit displeased about that. Instead he goes out to his old mate side bottom. They get it moving to Noble. This is good build up from full back. They need a contested mark now. Can they get one? Getterman's trying to find it out the back. Johnson picked it up front and centre. What a goal! What a celebration! He is A-grade talent. He's got 2. And that was super skillful. Really important goal. Back to 16 points. Collingwood 10-6-66 Melbourne 8-2-50 the Magpies Triple M Foxtel scoreboard.
It's frightening when you consider they're only 10 points down? 16, sorry. When you look at the inside 50s in this quarter, 21-7. There's 4 goals, 3 goals, 2. I mean, that's just a ridiculous return. Melbourne should be a lot further in front. But Collingwood just find a way to score when they get the rare opportunities.
Mature age of Chief Ash Johnson. He's come by Halls Creek, Clare, Scotch, Wang, Sturt in the Sandford.
Sandford, yeah.
Had a long trip to get here, but he's making the most of it.
Beautiful part of the world, the Clare Valley.
Oh, yes.
Have you been down there?
I have. Max Gawn grabs out of the middle. He's just a good mark, and he's handy around goals. Petrarca inches the ball forward towards Fritsch. Does well to keep it in. Fritsch goes back to Jackson. Puts an exploratory snap towards goal. Pickett went a touch early, but we liked it. Cross the line, 18 seconds on the clock. 16-point lead to Melbourne, and they're deep in attack.
Had a lot of inside 50s, Ash. There's got to be some sort of record this season.
Yeah, spot on, Brownie. 41 entries and a half. The record of all time in the game is 83, so they're on track.
The last 10 clearances in the game as well, man. All of the indicators would suggest this is a 6 to 8 goal thumping at the moment, but it's just 16 points. Petrarca's going to add another one here as he misses with a snap in heavy traffic. 10-7-67 Melbourne, 8-2-50, that's Collingwood. That is all on the Triple M Foxtel scoreboard. And there is the halftime siren. So an intriguing game. All the numbers tell you that this was a smashing for Melbourne. They've only got a 17-point lead here at halftime at the MCG on a Friday night. You've got Jason Dunsell, you've got Nate Brown. Tommy Brown's going to step into the chair and host halftime. Howie, all happening on a Friday night for McDonald's and Ream Hot Water. Triple M Rocks Footy.
That quarter for Foxtel. 4K Ultra HD. The best way to watch AFL. Only available on Foxtel.
For Ream Hot Water,
Triple M Rocks Footy.
Built tough for Aussie conditions. When it comes to water heating, ask your plumber to install a Ream.
It's your biggest sports show on Saturday morning. Triple M's Dead Set Legends. Join Joey Montagna, Jay-Z Clark and Fox Footy's Kath Lockman as they talk all things sport.
Joey, like he would have been a real mudlark throughout his playing career. Did you prefer wet conditions?
I used to love it when I looked outside. It was bucketing down rain. It was cold. And then I go, yes, we're playing at Marvel Stadium.
Yes. Triple M's Dead Set Legends. Tomorrow morning from 10 on 105.1 Triple M.
It's that time of the week. Furphy Footy Friday. From the first bounce to the bar, it's time to crack one, tell one. Furphy. Unbelievable. Drink responsibly.
Want to win free barista-made coffee for an entire year? That's a lot of lattes. Just buy a McCafe coffee on the My Maccas app for your chance to win. There are 25 winners every day. But hurry, limited time only. Ends 30th of the 8th, 22. Visit mcdonalds.com.au/coffeecom for full terms.
Harvey Norman, your premium Optus dealer. Get the new Google Pixel 6a 128GB for $0 upfront when you sign up to a new Optus $69 per month SIM-only plan for 24 months. Plus, receive a bonus $150 Harvey Norman gift card. Offer ends August 8. Minimum cost $1,650. Not available with other offers. In-store only. Cancellation fees, terms and conditions apply. Visit Harvey Norman, your premium Optus dealer.
Go, Harvey, go! Feel closer to the action with Foxtel's 4K Ultra HD. Watching sport has never looked so good. 4K Ultra HD, the best way to watch the NRL, AFL and F1. Only available on Foxtel.
With an average return of 9.25% per annum for the past 37 years, it's good to know Cbus are making your money work as hard as you.
Is that for shift workers, factory workers, builders and mechanics?
Yep, anyone who does hard work.
Cbus Super, making hard work pay off. To consider if Cbus is right for you, go to cbussuper.com.au for a PDS and TMD. Past performance is not a reliable indicator of future performance.
From first time browsing to big time of rousing, Sexyland is all about fun. We have Australia's biggest range of sexy costumes, couples' toys, fun gifts and games for adults. And our team of fun specialists are always here to help in store and online. Sexyland 11 stores open 7 days until midnight in Melbourne and Geelong, or shop online and get 2-hour delivery.
TPG has once again been rated number 1 for outstanding NBN value by the experts at CanStar Blue. So why not get an outstanding TPG NBN plan from just $59.99 a month with unlimited data and $0 setup fee, all on a no lock-in contract. And the best thing? Switching is easy. Call 13 14 23 or head online today. TPG. BYO modem required. T's and C's apply.
It's that time of the week. Furphy Footy Friday. From the first bounce to the bar, it's time to crack one, tell one. Furphy. Unbelievable. Drink responsibly.
Shut up! The footy's on Triple M! Triple M rocks footy.
This halftime break for Bosch 18-volt bi-turbo brushless tools. 1 battery, corded power, backed by a 6-year warranty guarantee.
For McDonald's and Ream Hot Water, Triple M rocks Friday night football from the Triple MCG, where Collingwood and Melbourne take each other on. Melbourne at the moment 10-7-67, lead the Pies by 17 points in what's been one of the most entertaining and goal-fueled first halves for the year. A couple of discussion points, obviously, from the first half. Ed Langdon was targeted early by the Pies, but fairly, I should add. But ended up having a pretty big impact on that first half. Cox also, well, the discussion point will be his knees up in the ruck, which we might hear further from Das in the second half. But to dissect the first half, I'm joined by Jason Dunstall, Nathan Brown and Ash Chua. Jason, I might start with you. It's quite incredible that Collingwood are right in this game, considering Melbourne's dominance.
It is. When you look at the territory battle, the number of times Melbourne have had first use of the footy, i.e. dominating the clearances, it's testament to Collingwood's persistence and their ability to score from limited opportunities that sees them only 17 points down. What we can't underestimate, Tom, is over the last 10 weeks, winning all those close games and winning game after game after game, it builds confidence and it builds belief. So even when things are running against you, they're finding a way to stay in the contest. They're hitting the scoreboard regularly enough to know that if they can tweak a few things and start to get a little bit more ball going their way, a little bit more territory, no reason why they can't get right back in this and maybe even get over the top of Melbourne, who have lost a few games from this position.
Just a couple of players, Jace, who have obviously been discussion points in the first half. How have you seen Mason Cox's game so far? And Ben Brown's worked his way right into the contest.
Yeah, he was quiet for the majority of that second quarter, but the last 5 or 7 minutes he really came into his own. He kicked a brilliant goal, took a couple of big marks, which really helped, and he's starting to provide that long option up the line when they need it, coming outside of the 50-metre arc, even pushing right up to the wing. Mason Cox, look, he kicked a goal. He's had a couple of opportunities where he's got his hands to it, hasn't held it. He was trying. Look, it was interesting, that free kick he gave against Max Gawn for putting his knee up. He was trying to be physical. He just doesn't quite have that craft in his kit bag at the moment. He's got to continue to persist. He's got to take marks more regularly when he gets the opportunity. That's probably the big knock on him. He's had chances to do that, hasn't quite done it yet.
Brownie, I was really interested in your comments in the first half regarding how the game's being played essentially on Melbourne's terms. Obviously in terms of the amount of repeat entries they're getting to 50, and also how you play down the line, obviously with their intercept markers and guys like May. It's sort of been on Melbourne's terms. You made that point really well.
It has been on Melbourne's terms, and particularly in the second quarter. It was played all on Melbourne's terms because the game was in their forward half of the ground. And I thought early stages, particularly in the first 10 minutes, that second term, whenever Collingwood got the footy, they bombed the ball out of the defensive 50. I think Murphy did one. I'm pretty sure Maynard did one as well. And the ball just kept coming back. So you need to be able to hold onto the footy, use it well, have composure, and take the ground off Melbourne. So if you're going to stand there and just kick it, Melbourne will get behind the footy every time and send it back the other way. But if you're prepared to hold onto the football, like Lipinski did in the first quarter, like Pendlebury did in the first quarter, just hold onto it for that little bit extra time, risk getting run down from behind, but you'll be able to make a better decision.
Jace touched on it, Nath, but you sort of feel like the Pies at the moment are holding onto a bucking horse. Melbourne have been very, very impressive, but it's the Pies' efficiency when they go forward that's kept them in it.
Yeah, and it would worry Melbourne at half-time. So Simon Goodwin goes in and goes, we've been in this position many times before this season. We've given up leads at half-time where we probably should have been further in front, and now sides have come out in the second half. So that would be in their psyche at the moment. And that's exactly what Craig McRae will be saying. We've done this before. We've come from behind for them. They've done it against this side, and this side. Every game this year we've been in this contest. Every game we've grounded out, so nothing's different today.
This is the halftime break for Bosch Power Tools. Bosch 18-volt bi-turbo brushless tools, 1 battery, corded power, backed by a 6-year warranty guarantee. Ash, you plenty of interesting stats to break down, but I guess the big one is the inside 50. It's a massive differential. You rarely see that with a 17-point margin at half-time.
Well, they've racked up 41 entries in a half, Melbourne, so it's 41-18, a differential of 23. The record, as Brownie touched on, is 83 in a game, but you mentioned they've been very efficient, the Magpies. They're going at 44% goal-scoring efficiency, 8 majors from those 18 entries. That's 21 above the league average.
And coaches post-match often talk about, obviously, the clearances and the contested stats, how they are tracking, Ash.
Yeah, so Melbourne dominating the clearances, 29-14. It's 13-4 out of the middle Melbourne's way, but if you break down the score sources, the Demons have only kicked 1-1 from centre bounce. Magpies, efficient again, they've kicked 2 goals straight.
And Jace and Nath have touched upon the upside, significant upside potentially for Collingwood, but the Pies had a few quiet players, in particular that quarter, that hopefully can work their way back into the game.
Yeah, Jason touched on some of those mids there. Pendlebury only had 4 touches in that second quarter. Side bottom with 3, Josh Dacos 3, and Jordan De Goey, he only had 2 touches in that second term as well.
Now, a feature of the halftime segment, of course, is the Amy Clangers. Who covers Clangers on and off the field? Amy does. Tonight's Clanger from the second quarter.
They're going to take it. Neil Bullen wants to find Brown. Well-weighted kick. Nick Dacos on the mark. Melks in the deepest forward. Terrible kick. Put it straight into the lap of Jeremy Howe.
He just held up his hand like they do in the inner ring, Chief, in cricket when they want the bloke in the outfield to come and grab it. Apologising did Ben Brown.
Hoskin Elliott also made a bit of a blue in terms of an open shot on goal during that quarter, but that was the Amy Clanger in the second quarter tonight. There's so much to play for here at the MCG. Essentially, one of these sides tonight can shore up a spot and the double chance, the crucial double chance in the top 4. For McDonald's and Ream Hot Water, Triple M rocks football.
that halftime break for Bosch 18-volt bi-turbo brushless tools. 1 battery, corded power, backed by a 6-year warranty guarantee.
For Ream Hot Water and McDonald's.
Triple M rocks footy.
Hi, it's Marty Sheargold. Right now, Triple M rocks footy, and we're back on Monday, and at 8:30 we'll wrap up the round with Scott Pendlebury.
Great to have Nick Reebolt with us.
Grand final day.
Yes.
I think we finally got a really good one.
Robbie's a
not
great
finally.
guy.
We had, the Killers were awesome.
Yeah.
But Robbie Williams.
Yeah, Robbie will be great.
Unreal.
He'll just do a medley.
Yeah.
Could Kylie come out and do a surprise performance of kids?
What about Nicole Kidman and they can do something stupid?
The Marty Sheargold Show. Weekdays from 6 on Melbourne's 105.1 Triple M.
Hi, Rodney Jane here. At Bob Jane T-Marts, we're the home of big brands. When you buy 3, you get the 4th tyre absolutely free. Plus, up to $150 instant cashback on the tyre brands you know and trust. Bridgestone, Yokohama, BF Goodrich, Goodyear, Dunlop and the legendary All-Rounder. Pick up alloy wheels from under $125, tyres from just $69 and get our best tyre price guarantee on all our big brands. We'll look after you.
T's and C's apply.
iPhone 13 Pro Max, dramatically more powerful, now with an incredible new offer at Vodafone. Featuring the biggest Pro camera system upgrade ever, super fast 5G, brighter Super Retina XDR display, and the best battery life ever in an iPhone. And right now, you can save a huge $400 on iPhone 13 Pro Max when you stay connected to an eligible plan over 12, 24 or 36 months. Only at Vodafone. Hurry, offer ends 11th of August unless extended. Visit us in store or head online today. 5G in selected areas of major cities, T&Cs apply.
Harvey Norman, official partner of the Commonwealth Games Australia. The Combi Wave by Breville, featuring air fry technology, is just $679, save $70, plus bonus cooking pack. Bonus coffee starter pack with Barista Express Impress from Breville, only $8.99. Or Breville Smart Oven Pizzaiolo with bonus pizza pack and create authentic pizzas at home. Now $9.99. Bonus fire redemption. Harvey Norman, official partner of the Commonwealth Games Australia.
It's that time of the week. Furphy Footy Friday. From the first bounce to the bar, it's time to crack one. Tell one. Furphy. Unbelievable. Drink responsibly.
Hello, Frank Walker from National Tiles. Naturally, my first love is beautiful National Floor Tiles. But I must say, this all-new hybrid flooring we have at National Tiles runs a very close second. At National Tiles, prices on hybrid flooring are just incredible. As an example, we've got circa $40 hybrid flooring at just $29.95 every day of the year. That's a massive saving of 25%. So rush into National Tiles now and save.
From first-time browsing to big-time arousing, Sexyland is all about fun. We have Australia's biggest range of sexy costumes, couples' toys, fun gifts and games for adults. And our team of fun specialists are always here to help in-store and online. Sexyland 11 stores open 7 days until midnight in Melbourne and Geelong, or shop online and get 2-hour delivery.
It's value the Australian way at Coles with great fresh specials this week. Like juicy Afura mandarins, 100% Aussie and just $2.90 a kilo. This week at Coles. Offer ends Thursday.
Shut up! The footy's on
Triple M rocks footy.
This quarter for IGA Liquor, where good food deserves a great drop.
Just an absolute beauty here on a Friday night. It was Melbourne by 8 at quarter time, 17 at the half-time break. Johnson, the exciting Johnson, has got 2 for the Pies. Jamie Elliott has got 3, and the Fritcher has got 2. Choice Hotels around the grounds. Need a break, book, direct and save with Choice Hotels, choicehotels.com. We'll go to our rugby league correspondent, Luke Darcy. Darcy, earlier on tonight.
Melbourne Storm had a win over the Gold Coast Titans, 32-14. Cam Munster, Chief, I know you follow that game closely. Serious player, Cam Munster.
Yep.
So Storm have had a bit of an up and down year, Chief.
Tough year for them. Tough year. They need to get momentum going at the right time now, heading into the finals.
Won the last 2 now, the Storm. IJ Liquor, add a drop to your shop this footy season at IJ Liquor, like a 6-pack of beers to go with your footy snacks. Head to igaliquor.com.au to find your local store. IJ Liquor, where good food deserves a great drop. Now, Chieftain.
Yep.
Tomorrow night, St Kilda take the road trip down to GMHBA to take on the all-conquering Cats, 1st versus 8. Any chance, any hope for the Saints?
It's the toughest trip in football, but I am not prepared to write anyone off. Some of the results we've seen this year already, Howie. you just end up with egg on your face if you say they cannot win.
The Western Bulldogs take on the Dockers. I think that's your game on Fox Footy, Chief. That'll be a good one. They need Taberner to snag a few, I think, the Dockers.
Yeah, well, they got 2 losses and a draw from their last 3 games, the Dockers. So their season's hit a real speed up, and they need to find something before we get to September. And the Bulldogs, well, you know what they're capable of. And if they find their best, they can knock off a couple of good sides and force their way into the 8.
And the Hawks, Nath, have they've got CJ out, and they seem to have quite a few players going in for operations. Mitch Lewis is out with a bit of a knee grumble. They take on the Gold Coast Suns. Gold Coast are 0-5 down in Tasmania against the Hawks, but slight permutations and calculations, the Gold Coast could still make finals.
Yeah, no, Jeff, no. Mitchell Lewis makes it tough, and it's a 50-50 game. For me, it's a hard one to pick because, look, you don't know what Hawthorn are going to come out. They're a really good young side, but they're making mistakes and they can't run out a full game. But then some weeks they come out and you think they're going to be world beaters. And Gold Coast, they've been consistent this year, but they've let themselves down on occasions. They're a really tough game to pick, and I can't pick it.
Be a tense afternoon at my place on Sunday, Chief, because the Blues, after dropping one to Adelaide, they take on Brisbane in the 3:20 game. Gee whiz, they got a tough run home too, Carlton.
Mind you, when we look at the run home for all the teams that are fighting for those spots, you go, none of them are easy. I'm concerned about both those teams, truth be told. I mean, Brisbane had a game shot to bits last week and succumbed to the Tigers. The Blues have had a couple of tests when we thought, will they put up their hand and be a genuine contender, and they haven't been able to do that. So, again, they've just got to keep winning. First and foremost, another win to make sure they make the 8, the Blues. Was
talk of reports of Buddy Franklin's management meeting Brisbane. Can you see a forward line with Joe Danaher, Buddy Franklin, Charlie Cameron? It's a bit to be excited about there if you're a Brisbane fan.
I can see it. Absolutely, I can see it. If Brisbane Lions have got the salary cap, I can see it.
Joe and Buddy, how would you see that? That'd be like you and Durham in the heyday, Chief. It'd be like, who's going to be the main man?
Yeah, but as you say, you throw Cameron in there, you throw Hipwood, who's in there. It's pretty unpredictable. I don't know how much structure there's going to be in that forward line.
Who was the main man out of you and Durham, who's in the box next to us?
You don't need to ask that question, Howie.
So it was the Chief. 1254 reasons, I guess.
Durham always raised a point that said the 3 times he played full forward that his goal average was better than Chief, and that if you had
really, I never heard this.
Played in that role, that felt like he probably would have kicked more than 1254. Chief, have you heard that theory before?
I've heard lots of theories from Durham.
Chief, you're my man.
This is one of my favourite topics.
Yeah. No, he's a theorist. He's always been a theorist.
You're always my man, Chief. I love Durham, but I had more love for you. Yeah, I had more love.
I was more of a Dermot man.
Were you?
Yeah.
Were you?
Yeah.
Durham nearly got me when he started driving the Ferrari, and I never saw the Chief as a young man. I didn't think the Chief would sort of pull off.
It was
the
a
Ferrari.
Ratley's menswear.
The Volvo wasn't cutting it for you, Howie?
Probably not, Chief. But at your goals,
Chief owned the nightclub, though.
Yeah, that's true.
JD's Bar.
And when I first turned 18,
when
I first turned 18, I used to try and go down there in the hope that the Chief would be there, but I never actually found if the Chief was there because I never got in the front door. Anyway,
it was loose.
Was it?
Yeah.
$6 Crown Lagers down there. It was a lot of money at uni. Why'd you get rid of the bar, Chief?
Everything runs its race after a while, mate.
Was it a good enterprise?
One wasn't.
Which was what was the one next to Sugar Shack down there? Which was that one?
JD's for
Right.
Yeah, we had licensing problems there because people kept getting stabbed around the corner.
Right.
So we couldn't get the license extended the way we wanted to.
Did you ever get to Sugar Shack, Nate?
Never got to Sugar Shack, Howard.
It was a good venue.
What was the other one in Toorak Road that you had?
The saloon.
The saloon. That
was a
the
good one. Yeah.
But you've been to most places, Brownie, I would have thought. There weren't many that you didn't grace.
You'd have been a Silvers man in that part of the world, wouldn't you?
No, that was a bit after my time, Howard. I'm not that old.
Okay. Now, what do you got for us, Chewy?
Triple M Red Z.
A bit of a good giggle.
Those Tok H.
Tok H.
41 inside 50s to 18. We'll keep an eye out for that record. 83 is a record in a game by GWS and North Melbourne.
You used to go out with...
Sorry, Melbourne and North Melbourne.
We used to go out with Duck and Kingy and Corey after a night with North. Used to go out with the boys.
No, I think
Fridge Roberts.
Effectively, they distanced themselves from the stats team, Howie.
Didn't head down to the Redback Brewery with the boys?
I definitely did, but not with the boys, that's for sure.
Righto. Second half here, Luke Darcy, the king that he is, will take charge.
MCG, big crowd in, entertaining game And Chew, there is a formula now for what you should win by if you dominate the stats. And are you aware of this, Chew?
No, I'm not.
I might have just made it up. But it looks like if you put it all together, Chew, it should be more than 17 points for Melbourne. That was the point I was hoping to make. Chew didn't go with me. Here's Brayshaw, first centre clearance. Goes the way of the D's. Neil Bullen ducked his head. Play on was the right call. One back nicely at half back to go. He picked it up. His kick came straight off the side of the boot. Heads towards the boundary line. Lipinski got a good shepherd from side bottom, and then Lipinski's kick sold Maynard into all sorts of trouble. Had to go back and fetch it, Lipinski, and then he got wrapped up by Neil Bullen. So thrown up at forward 50. I think the clubs get a bit of an indicator rating these days around if they win certain categories, the likelihood, Nate, that they would win a game. Melbourne's been well on top, is the point.
Max Gawn. Umpire's voice broke there at one stage as he called play on. The ball's on the outer side and Max Gawn just takes Jeremy Howe across the line for a Friday night feed. Catch a quarter-pounder range meal. Score a free Macca's glass. Start collecting today. It was Melbourne by 8 at quarter time, 17 at the half. What's the game high been, Chewy?
Triple M Reds head Howie, 23 points.
To Melbourne. Jeremy Howe working hard on his knees, just tunnel balling it through the legs of Maynard. Goes in that direction again. Big Mason Cox, not his area on the ground, but he tries to push and shove down there on the turf. Fritsch, he's kicked two. Gives out to Brayshaw. Back by hand to Langdon. Just an up and under. And kicking it into the crowd. Who let him know about it? And there's a Collingwood man with two fingers up to Ed, who will not give us stuff about that.
Strange kick that from Langdon.
Very.
Isaac Quainer, a really impressive player for the Pies. Mason Cox, free kick going the way of the big American ruckman.
I reckon Nathan Murphy's got a few issues with his left arm. He's trying to get himself off, but whether it's the wrist or higher up, I don't quite know. He just can't get off at the moment.
Looks a bit winged, doesn't he, Chief? Just having a look. Mark taken back there by Jackson, who's combined superbly with Max Gawn. Two big men on top. Flicks it back to Salem. He's got a short one. And the open target there is Clayton Oliver. Shane Warne stands side of the G. He sends it high and long down the line. Quainer came at it, read it better than anyone else did. Everything right apart from take the easiest of marks, and it spills out of bounds. So still at half forward for Melbourne. It'll be thrown in the D's. We've got a 17-point lead on the Triple M IJ Liquor scoreboard.
IJ Liquor, where good food deserves a great job. So the quarter really yet to spark into action. Jackson towards Oliver, now Viney, and a good game. Typically does. Sets a task to Jackson, fisted by a side, but it probably went the opposite direction. Headed towards his own goal. Quainer comes back to mop up. Hasn't got much room. The hand pass doesn't get past Gawn, but he heads it in the path of Carmichael. Now there's a ball to be won. Nick Dacos, Oliver. Nick Dacos comes out on top to Murphy. Looks like he's moving okay now. De Goey, numbers in the first half, too.
Triple M Reds head. De Goey, 11 touches.
His kick wasn't good, but Josh Dacos made it better than it was. Then takes it on a tackler with confidence. To go, his hand pass is circumvented by Jordan. Goes back by hand. Maynard's got him. Maynard's got him. And he'll get it on half back.
Strong tackle that from Maynard. They're under all sorts of pressure there, Collingwood. And he's one of their most reliable. Braden Maynard, 156 game of AFL football to Nick Dacos. Goes back to Maynard. They're trying to get the switch going here, so they'll go concede some ground to Murphy. Murphy a little nervous to the next switch kick to Howe, so he comes back down this member's wing to Maynard. Now to Josh Dacos, picked up the half volley with ease. And then goes the bold kick. It's a 1-on-3 to go. He's the one. Pendlebury comes in and lends some support. Great pressure, Melbourne. This looks dangerous for Collingwood. Socket forward from Pickett. They're going to surge it to Neil Bull and back to Cozzy. They'll make them pay here. Cozzy into the goal square's missed. Almost sucked him into that corridor kick there, the D's. 10-8-68 to 8-2-50. 18-point lead to Melbourne. Triple M IJ Liquor scoreboard.
It's an extraordinary option from Josh Dacos to kick to a 1-on-3. And not to the advantage of De Goey either.
Petrarca was free in the pocket. He was disappointed that Cozzy didn't give it to him. But to be fair, he's 25 out directly in front. Under pressure. Worth a go, though. Darcy Moore marks strongly on the outer flank from the Shane Warne stand. Gives it to Nick Dacos. He's Rolling sort of an aqua boot tonight is Nick. To go his handball, doesn't really get back. In fact, it was side bottoms handball that was not going as he'd expect. Langdon, clean bowl by the footy. Pendlebury. Oliver, slick hands, just tapped it across to Langdon. He spins it back round the corner. Play on ball. The crisper gets it down towards Carmichael, only as far as Lever, still sporting that. Spins out of a bit of trouble, does well. Kick lets him down though, and it goes across the line with Melbourne in attack, forward of the wing, leading it by 18 points. About 5.5 into the third term on the Triple M IJ Liquor scoreboard. 68-50. IJ Liquor, the way of the Demons, where good food deserves a great drop.
Just to the naked eye, it feels like the D's are winning all those really important little 50-50 contests, just like that, where Cox had a chance to get a handball over. Oliver wrapped him up in a good tackle. Here comes the D's again. Oliver jams it long, looking for Max Gawn. It was taken care of, though, by Jeremy Howe. So give us some of the numbers, Chew, that are stacking up Melbourne's way, please.
So
Chew.
just trying to back up what you're saying. So some key categories. Melbourne dominating the inside 50s, contested ball, clearances and scores from stoppages. If you win all those 4 categories, usually you win 74% of games.
74%, Chew. I'll tell you what, Chew, if Collingwood take it deep this season, they're winning about 85% of games. Quainer hacks it round the corner. Well done by Lever. The intercept in front of Lipinski. Just wants things to calm down, Lever. You've got to kick a goal from 60, so he takes a bit off the kick in the path of Maxi Gawn, but big Meso's there. And that's what you want to see him doing, Chief. Get back in the hole and take mark.
Absolutely. And he needed to, because Gawn was steaming out towards that one. That's where Lever was looking for.
Oh, Max nearly affected the smother with a diving attempt. They've got it trapped in their forward half here, the D's, and the handballs are coming unstuck for Collingwood consistently. They go back inside again. Neil Bullen only as far as Darcy Moore gets it to Nick Dacos. Goes sideways to Quainer. This is a better opportunity. Out to Lipinski on the outer wing. Running shotgun with side bottom. He goes further afield to Myercheck. McCreary deep in the goal square. That's where the kick will go. Great ball. It was a dart. McCreary got it right on the top of the goal line. Best build up for a while for the Pies.
Yeah, it has been, because the game, 7 minutes, has been played in Melbourne's half of the ground. Entry upon entry. They couldn't quite hit the nail on the head. And then they get one out. They go transfer play from one side to the other. Lipinski was out. And then the kick from Myercheck had to be perfect, and it was.
Bo McCreary directly in front. Punt road end. Almost couldn't miss from there, and he doesn't. So remarkably for mine, it is just a 12-point ball game. 10-8 to 9-2. D's by 12 points. The Pies right in this game on the Triple M IJ Liquor scoreboard. IJ Liquor, where good food deserves a great drop.
One inside 50 for a goal. And at the other end, Melbourne have gone inside 50 in this quarter 6 times. And they've scored a behind. So again, Collingwood's defence standing up really, really well. And they look dangerous every time they go forward. The question is, can they go forward enough to give those players the opportunity to win the game for them?
You get the feeling, Chief, the longer this game goes and the longer Melbourne hang in, or the longer Collingwood hang in, the more nervous Melbourne are going to get, and they're going to tighten up.
Triple M Harvey Norman replay. It was a good low flat kick from Myercheck. New Google Pixel 6A available now at Harvey Norman, plus receive a bonus $150 gift card. Away we go again. The lead back now to 2 goals the way of Melbourne. Collingwood to get another clearance through Chris. Myercheck did really well in the air to bring it to ground. Petty gives it to May. Oh, he just stopped and he's done from behind. McCreary ragdolled him. Not sure what May was doing. He just stopped and waited, and McCreary went bang.
I just don't know whether he thought he was there. I'm not sure where he thought he was, because he just stepped around him and he didn't disappear.
So Bo will have a second shot in the space of 40 seconds. This one much tougher though. From 50 in front of the members, about 8 metres inside the boundary. This to bring it back to a 1-goal game. Bo McCreary will drift out to the right. Hits it pretty well, but it's starting right. Big contest in the square, fisted through, 11-point margin. The way of the Demons. Triple M IJ Liquor scoreboard. 12.5 to go, third term.
He's coming. Jake, out.
The medical sub Trent Bianco doing some warm-up activity at the boundary line. Tommy Brown to have a thought on that in a moment. We'll get a chance for Bob Jane teammates. We'll get to Tommy Here come the D's through the middle of the ground. Neil Bullen's got it. Goes back. Ben Brown, the running receive. Not normally where he gets his footy. They've been able to hand it out wide to Oliver. Gets through a tackle to Langdon. Flicks it forward again. Nick Dacos confronts Neil Bullen. They got him, I reckon. He might have been saved by the boundary line. He was. Took on a couple of tacklers. You can hear what the Magpie fans think about that. Tommy Brown.
So Hoskin Elliott is being assessed down in the rooms. Bianco warming up. So it looks like Collingwood shortly will activate their medical sub. I'll update you when that happens.
Thanks, Brownie. Bob Jane team might look after you. Buy 3, get 1 free, plus instant cash back. Top tire brands. Call 13 26 25 or order online today. BobJane.com.au. Ball to be won. Centre wing out of side. Jordan and Sparrow are involved. As is Rivers, is across the boundary line in front of some pretty irate Collingwood supporters, Noodles.
So plus 27 inside 50s. Melbourne 47, Collingwood 20. And Melbourne have laid 7 tackles inside forward 50, which is okay from the 47 entries. But Collingwood have laid 8 tackles inside their forward 50 tonight from only 20 entries.
Carmichael shunts the ball forward as far as May. Just tell me those inside 50s again, Noodles.
47 to 20. But of those 20, Collingwood have actually laid 8 tackles inside their forward 50. So very efficient when going in forward, and they keep it in there when they do.
So more than double the inside 50s. For Melbourne, they only lead it by 11 points, 10-8 to 9-3. Got the ball centre wing, Spargo. It's a cleverly crafted 45-degree kick to Neil Bullen. He ignores the Spargo 1-2 in favour of Ben Brown down the line, and supported by the big man with some good, strong hands. He's taking some good marks tonight, Chief, once he's got himself in the position.
He has, when he gets a run and a jump at it, and that's the difficulty that Jeremy Howe is having. Jeremy Howe's playing from behind, which probably suits if you can get body on body or you can get a big run and jump into him. But when the player is on the lead like Brown is and marking it at the highest point, it's just impossible to spoil from behind.
28th match for Melbourne, the man from Devonport, including the premiership, and under 18s in Werribee and North Melbourne. 200 centimetres, 101 kicks. Big Brenny starts the run up now. Hits 55, 53, 52, 50. Strikes it pretty well. He's hooked at a touch going for the extra distance, and it's fisted through. Back to a 2-goal margin, 10-9, the Demons. 9-3, the Pies, 57. Triple M IJ Lucas scoreboard.
Dacos.
Sub's been made.
Nate Brown. So Bianco out there will catch up on that news in a moment. The Pies are going down the outer wing side. It spills out the back to Ginnivan. He comes looking for Elliott. Defending was Hibbert. Elliott, kung fu style, socket it forward. Mychek picked it up. The D's defence up for the challenge, although walking it over was Salem. Front of Ginnivan.
He was going to pick it.
And Ginnivan's taken a bit of a flop, but now there's some push and shove on. They're coming in. Viney wants a piece of it. They've got Carmichael, and I reckon that's pretty well umpired. They've decided we're not going to pay any free kicks there. We're just going to let it go, and they're going to throw it in quickly at half forward for the Pies.
Langdon under pressure with a high spiralling ball. A lot of feeling in this one. Oliver tracks it back. And the handbasket goes across the line from Sparrow. So it's Hoskin Elliott out. What were his numbers tonight so far, Hoskin Elliott, Chew?
Just the 4 touches.
So he goes out of the game injured, and Bianco comes in, yeah?
Spot on.
Okay. Who's the sub for Melbourne, Guru?
Harms.
Centre wing out of side. Petrarca. Hand pass only as far as the marathon man, Chris. He's stymied.
Their pressure's been good again this third term, Collingwood. They're tackling, they're flying 214 in the third quarter. That is huge. They're getting themselves in the game physically. They realise there's a chance to steal this one.
Chief, Jason Dunstall, Nate Brown, your Triple M Super special comments, and they have really lifted their rating around the footy. Collingwood, good sideways kick. Has landed in the lap of James Jordan. Gives it over the top to Hibbert, goes over the top again to Spargo. Back to Hibbert. Worked their way through that pretty well. The D's. Max Gawn in good shape for this mark. Darcy Moore, timely defensive effort. Out the back, Ben Brown. Petrarca, danger signs here for the Pies. Back to Ben Brown. He's taken on a bit too much. Another brilliant tackle, and it was young Nick Dacos. They're tackling beautifully, Collingwood.
They are, but they had numbers everywhere, Melbourne. A couple of slick hand passes, they run into an open goal. Just a little fumble, a hand pass behind the body, and Collingwood were there to pounce.
Triple M Seabar Super Specials, Seabar Super marking, hard work payoff. You got the Chief and you got Noodles.
Yeah, like you were questioning the sub Howard.
Yeah, I heard that the way he asked it
was
too, Nate.
very pointed. He only had 4 disposals, has he?
You're suggesting a player that didn't have a big impact is the one that's gone off, Howard.
He's firing a few bullets, Howard.
Yes, he is.
He is.
Suggesting that at all. I just hadn't
That's
thought
exactly what you suggest.
Not normally how we roll in the front row.
I hadn't caught his name a great deal. What was his injury, Brownie? Hoskin
he's going again.
A leg issue. We'll get back to Brownie as Johnson flies on the outer side. Hopefully he's okay, Hoskin Elliott.
Brownie's off getting a hot dog.
Sorry, is that there? No, me.
Okay, well, you're on. So what's up with it?
Sorry,
Hoskin
Howie.
Elliott,
I've just checked with Collingwood. I've put a message to them, so I'll update you shortly.
Okay, thanks, brother. You do often disappear, sort of sushi o'clock, Brownie, to be fair, as the ball comes to Pendlebury on the outer side.
Starting to build here, the Pies.
Nick Dacos, here they come again through the crisper, forward handball to Degoe, all the money men involved. Back to Carmichael from 45, crowd will tell you everything.
Oh.
They don't, because they got it wrong, because it missed by a whisker.
Tell you what, that crowd is ready to jump on board though, Howie. They're building to fever pitch.
It is hard to keep up 42 entries inside 50 and a half and continually bang it in there and not get reward for effort. And slowly, you just feel like Collingwood are starting to get a little bit more of the footy, a little bit more in their end of the ground.
10-9-69, 9-4-58. Margin just 11 points in favour of the D's. Kick to the wing, Max Gawn, as he's done so often in the last 6 years. Take big marks when they need him the most. Gets it to Oliver. His kick been intercepted by Noble. Didn't quite complete the mark. It looked like he had it and was away. The D's get it back high up and under kick. Ben Brown pushed Howard directly in the back. Crisp takes the advantage. Flicks it sideways to Noble. Happy to give it to Pendlebury. Why wouldn't you? Beautifully weighted kick to Howe, to Quainer. This is good again. The Pies are coming from everywhere. Quainer with a high up and under. He wants the contested mark. Clearing a bit of a space with Jamie Elliott. The sub Bianco came on, had a look at it. Elliott gets bundled over the line. And it'll be thrown in forward 50 for the Pies. They are pressing, Chief.
He did well, Elliott. A bit of body contact to protect Bianco, who had a chance to mark the ball.
Ball spins back into play. Max goes tapping it back towards the wing. Pickett, electric after the footy. Good tackle though by Quainer. Needs to let him go now because he doesn't have the footy. Umpire said let the boys go. Nick Dacos goes a little slide around the boundary. And insufficient intent by Nick. So Big Maxi set to bring things back into play.
Feels like at the moment Melbourne, any player, the only player above 6'3" or 4 that looks like marking the footy is going to be Max Gawn.
Gone back inside the defensive 50. Salem's good enough to get away from the Degoe tackle. Brayshaw throws a hand at it on the wing. It's close towards the boundary line. It's a 9-point lead. It's an 11-point lead to Melbourne. 6:42 to go. As Pickett's got a bit of space. If he can pick it up, he does now. Fashions a clever ball. Really good to Petrarca. Here they come again. He wanted to release early. As a result, there was a hand on it. Hand pass comes back. Spargo should finish. Spargo does finish. Melbourne with the steadier they needed. And the crowd really invested now. 75 to 58. Back out to 17 points the way of the Demons. 6:22 to go. Third term on the Triple M IJ Liquor scoreboard.
Got to appreciate how good that kick was from Cozzy Pickett. They really worked hard to get the ball towards centre wing. I just spoke about the fact that they haven't really taken any marks inside forward 50, big marks apart from maybe Max Gawn. And Cozzy Pickett had nobody to kick to. He had to wait with the football, and then he elected to go the 45-degree angle kick. It was the hardest kick he had to possibly make to Petrarca, who was bursting back into space, and it was perfect, and that opened up the ground right under Pickett.
Nate Brown and Chief all over it on the Triple M C-Bus Supers, and that was an important goal. As Nate Brown caught it, steadying goal for the D's with 6:22 remaining until three-quarter time. Pies had really had a powerful 6 or 7 minutes. Great game this one. Mason Cox wins the centre clearance. Inside forward 50 go Collingwood, only as far as Lever. He has a bit of a shake of a kick. Goes directly sideways. Picked up though by Brayshaw just inside the boundary line. Open the door for Bianco slightly. And off hands. It was Jaden Hunt getting involved in that one. He'll be thrown in at half forward for the Pies as Max Gawn takes a well-earned rest for the D's. Right in front of Simon Goodwin on the Harvey Norman replay screen.
Mason Cox gets front position. Jackson gets the ball towards Oliver. Spirals it forward towards centre wing. Pickett. Didn't know where the ball went in the end. Jackson did really well below his knees. Neil Bullen stands up in the tackle. Puts a hand pass out in front of Tommy Sparrow. He's got options. Here come Melbourne again now. The inside 50 ball will be Spargo. And he goes short to Melksham. Jake will have to kick it from 48 metres out.
It's a smart kick from Sparrow, though. You see a lot of players get that ball on the run and put it to the top of the square when the easiest kick is just a 15-metre chip in front of you with a player coming up at your face to have an opportunity to kick a goal. So Spargo, a couple of nice moments.
Melksham lining up from 50 metres to make it 2 in a row for the Demons and take it out to a 23-point margin. 5 to go, third term. It'll take his best, Jakey boy, the former Bomber. Nice straight at Perroch, just out of touch to the right, and the kick goes to the left. Marking contest in the square, and the D's rush it through. 76 to 58. Being reported worldwide, Das, that McLaren have sat down with Daniel Ricciardo and said, your deal is up at the end of the year and you'll be replaced by another Australian, Oscar Piastri.
Good news around the grounds, Choice Hotels.
Big news. Big news.
Exciting for young Oscar Piastri, who's the...
managed by Mark Webber.
Protege in Australian motorsport, Lipinski. So we've got a 3-goal margin in favour of the D's. Pies got it in the hands of Still side bottom on the outer wing. True centre wing it is out there, and he's just taking a bit of time with this next kick. Cuts back inboard, wants a mark from Mason Cox. Had a good play on it, socket off the ground. Front Hibbert.
It's the one he's got to mark, Duke. It was a good kick to his advantage. He's got to mark that ball, Mason Cox.
Yeah, it would have made a big difference. It was there for the taking. Ben Brown jumped over side bottom. Trying to wrestle it back. Jack Crisp in an arm wrestle now with Langdon. Neither player could free the Sharon. So 80 metres out for the Pies goal. It will be thrown up. 11-10-76 the Demons, 9-4-58. An 18-point lead in the favour of the Melbourne Footy Club on the Triple M Ijalica scoreboard.
4:09 to go before three-quarter time. Lever works hard in defence. Ginnivan hasn't been a factor. To go he has. Snaps it. Mychek running back with a flight marks. He'll go back and kick a goal. And that was a courageous mark from Brodie Mychek.
Tell you what, that's a great mark by Mychek. Going back, he had Stephen May pushing him the whole way and going back with the flight. Now Johnson coming in and just giving a little bit of lip to Stephen May, who's not overly happy about it, complaining to the umpire, but Mychek will kick his second.
Bring it back to a 2-goal margin. Collingwood hanging in there. He sneaks it home, Brodie. He's got 2. Melbourne 11-10. Collingwood 10-4, 64. 2-goal margin. Johnson continues to give
called it behind
you.
I think it's hit the post, is it?
Review underway.
It slew off the boot.
The controlling umpire has overruled this, I reckon. He's gone it behind.
Well, we'll get the right answer here anyway. Once Snorkel gets his crew
sponsors away,
getting to work, yeah. Just show the edge and let's move on.
Crypto.com.
I reckon the goal umpire thinks it's a goal, and the
review complete. Looking at these angles, there appears to be a gap between the ball and the goalpost as it goes past, and no spike on edge. Decision on the scoreboard.
Sausage.
Did his best to miss it, didn't he? From directly in front.
Pretty efficient score review by the snorkel machine.
Good for a change.
Snorkel machine.
At least they found the right answer.
Slightly confused by that, in that I think it was definitely a goal, but I think the field umpire thought it was generally the other side of the post, so they're reviewing whether it hit the post, not which side of the post it went on, if that makes any sense. I could be reading a lot more into that than there is, Nate. So Stephen May's still having a look at that.
He's unhappy, Big Maisie. But it's in the book.
The result was an important goal. It was a courageous mark, wasn't it, from Mychek? He's had a challenging night, Chief, but
he hasn't seen much of it, Duke, and that's why he's frustrated. Stephen May, he's done a great job, but he's kicked 2 important goals, Mychek. That's what you've got to do on a bad night. Find a way to contribute.
Back to just a 12-point ball game. 3:28 until three-quarter time. Pies doing a brilliant job to hang in there. Mason Cox did well. Lipinski The fumble could be costly. Jackson swoops on it. Still a live ball to be won there. Noble came in to put some pressure on. Just letting it go over the top. Petrarca. And it's been edged forward about 10 metres in the favour of Melbourne, but it'll be thrown up once again inside the centre square.
3:12 to go, 76-64. Melbourne lead. They led by 8 at quarter time, 17 at the half. It's been whittled back to a 12-point margin, but the inside 50s too favour Melbourne.
Yeah, they do, but plus 25, but Pies are only down by 2 in this term.
Okay, plus 25, it's a big number as Hunt is wrapped up on centre wing by big Darcy Cameron, the man from North Albany and Claremont. Centre wing ball in front of the members. Cameron towards Pendlebury. Collingwood attack to the left. Screen. Punt road end. Cameron grabs out of the ruck, tried to squeeze the ball to go. He does well at ground level. Gets onto the left with a floating mum. He goes 4 rows back and is out the full. And you can see the humour in it, having a good chuckle, is Geordie.
The two men, correct me if I'm off the top of my head, Collingwood, they played 10 games that have been decided by less than 12 points and won 9 of them. I think it could be 8 of 9, if not 9 of 10, and we're a 12-point margin now. 2 minutes 26 until three-quarter time. They are the tight game specialists this year. Good tackle. Brayshaw's handed that straight over the boundary line. It had to be insufficient attempt to keep it in, and Collingwood, through Jeremy Howe, pounce on it.
It's an interesting one, that one, isn't it? You're being tackled, all your momentum's going to the boundary. You have to dispose of the ball properly. What else can you do?
It's pretty tough, Chief, isn't it? I knew it was going to be paid. Lipinski picks it up. He's got an open goal square. Mychek goes back. Lipinski's kicked a monster goal. And we're back to within 6 points. Pies fans going nuts at the MCG. Big crowd. And they are right in this contest. Make no mistake about it. 11-10 to 11-4. D's by 6. Triple MIJ Liquor scoreboard.
What are the numbers this quarter telling us, Ash? So taking out the first, 6 minutes of this quarter, what have Collingwood done after that? Because it feels like momentum's just shifted into their favour.
No question, Brownie. They're winning the territory. The past 10 minutes, the time in the front half, they're going at 73%, opposed to the Demons at only 27, and they're also breaking even contested ball and clearances.
And they haven't won any of those stats the whole game so far. It's all been the last 15 minutes. Momentum's turning. You can feel the crowd starting to build. All of a sudden, Melbourne start to tighten up. They need goals. They need them badly. You look forward. I can't see where the goals are coming from at the moment from Melbourne unless Max Gawn is in the forward half of the ground.
Bob Jane, Tommy Brown.
Ginnivan's come off. He looks sore, but I'll keep a close eye on him. He might just be cramp or relatively okay.
Thank you, mate. Inside 50 ball, Tommy. Away the Demons. To Maxi Gawn. Off the check side, got the right side of the footy, and he's dumped it out on the full. Big Maxi boy.
Kick the torp straight into the crowd.
Gee, the crowd are invested too.
So minute 46 now until three-quarter time. Murphy sends it long in the Mason Cox direction. He's competed pretty well. Took out Clayton Oliver, didn't give away a free kick. May got it back to Oliver. Now to Salem. Got boot to ball really quickly. Clever kick to Petrarca, who just about back himself. He's directly in front. You're looking at a 55-metre shot. Brownie, you're our good judge of distance.
Look, I think he can get the distance, Duke. Not a problem getting the distance for Christian Petrarca. It's just, does he spray it trying to go that extra distance? So he'll give himself a little bit of right, and then...
And he decided to set up kick to the pocket to Ben Brown, and...
Wasn't expecting that.
No. Put it out in front of Ben Brown and found him in the right forward pocket. Cute angle. He's going to have to kick it with his back up against the fencing. We'll take something pretty creative from here from Ben Brown.
Oliver's had a big quarter. 12 disposals, 4 tackles this quarter. It was quietish in the first half.
So Ben Brown, it's a right foot check side for mine. This one, Chief, he fancies the drop punt off him, but does go the right foot check side and never really got a good look at that. Just snuck it in for a minor score. 7-point lead to the D's. 30 seconds until three-quarter time. That is all the Triple MIJ Liquor scoreboard.
30 seconds on the clock. As Collingwood look to move the ball down the outer side. Down to 25 seconds. Collingwood's record in close games that Darce was alluding to, Chewy.
Yeah, 9 out of their 14 wins have been by 11 points or less.
Extraordinary. last 4 weeks, they've just all been real tight ones. Petrarca, Neil Bull and Melbourne trying to get something going with 8 seconds on the clock. And the Hyphens pinned with the footy. So siren will sound without any further score unless there's a umpiring decision getting involved. Melbourne by 8 at quarter time, 17 at the half. A quarter to go, Collingwood. They've been in this position time and time again. They trail by 7 points at three-quarter time. Melbourne dominating inside 50s, but only 7 points up on the Triple M IJ Liquor scoreboard. It's the D's by 7 at three-quarter time, and a cracker for McDonald's Marine Hot Water Triple M Rocks footy.
That quarter for IGA Liquor, where good food deserves a great drop.
For McDonald's.
Triple M Rocks footy.
For a Friday night feed, catch a quarter pounder range meal and score a free Macca's glass. Start collecting today.
Shut up! The footy's on Triple M!
Triple M's Saturday rub knows a successful team needs total commitment.
You're leaving early today to go to a cashy in Launceston.
No, it's just something that's been in the book for a while now.
But so's your requirements to work on Triple M Saturday afternoon. Work comes first, Bill.
It does.
Well, I'm sick of working.
Join the Temper Mattress call team tomorrow from noon for the Hawks and Suns. For Ream Hot Water and McDonald's, Triple M rocks footy.
Install a Ream. Install a Ream. Install a Ream.
For the hottest of hot water you've ever seen. Ream comes on steady, hot and strong. It just keeps on and on.
Ream's been proudly manufacturing here in Australia for over 80 years.
Install a Ream. Install a Ream.
So ask your plumber for Ream, Australia's #1.
Harvey Norman, your premium Optus dealer. Get the new Google Pixel 6a 128 gig for $0 upfront when you sign up to a new Optus $69 per month SIM-only plan for 24 months. Plus, receive a bonus $150 Harvey Norman gift card. Offer ends August 8. Minimum cost $1,650. Not available with other offers. In-store only. Cancellation fees, terms and conditions apply. Visit Harvey Norman, your premium Optus dealer.
Go, Harvey, go!
TPG brings you awesome deals on mobile with a massive 50% off all TPG mobile plan fees for the first 6 months. Now that's pretty good. TPG. New TPG mobile customers only. For use in Oz, T's and C's apply.
Hello, Frank Walker from National Tiles. Naturally, my first love is beautiful National floor tiles. But I must say, this all-new hybrid flooring we have at National Tiles runs a very close second. At National Tiles, prices on hybrid flooring are just incredible. As an example, we've got circa $40 hybrid flooring at just $29.95 every day of the year. That's a massive saving of 25%. So rush into National Tiles now and save.
Next time you're at the shops, take a second to spare, because there are people in our community who need a little extra care. Those who live week to week, pay by pay, miss out when the shelves are bare because it was their only shopping day. All we ask is you buy what you need. Don't buy into the fear, as the vulnerable miss out across the country, far and near. A message from foodbank.org.au, where every dollar donated is 2 meals created.
It's that time of the week. Furphy Footy Friday. From the first bounce to the bar, it's time to crack one. Tell one. Furphy. Unbelievable. Drink responsibly.
Hi, it's Will Davison, supercar driver and 2-time Bathurst winner. Did you know that IMAR, the tradies mate, has handymen and landscapers covered too? Insure your handyman or landscaping business with IMAR and receive competitive monthly premiums at no additional cost. Keep the inside line and get an instant quote at imar.com.au. Pay the premium online and you're ready to go. Or call 13IMAR, that's 134627. Get a quote, get covered, get working.
They're the tradies, mate. That's IMAR.
Triple M rocks footy.
This quarter for Beacon Trade, supporting tradies with over 120 stores, expert trade teams, design services and a huge range of electrical accessories. Beacon, making every tradie's job easier.
Melbourne Bay at quarter time, 17.5, back to a 7-point margin. Three-quarter time, Melbourne 11-11-77, Collingwood 11-4-70. Johnson's got a couple. for Collingwood. Elliott's got 3. Fritsch has got 2 for Melbourne. But Collingwood with that record in the close ones. Bob Jane T-Marts look after you. Buy 3, get 1 free. Plus instant cash back on top tyre brands. Call 13 26 25 or order online today, bobjane.com.au. Bianco came into the game, Tommy?
Yeah, for Hoskin Elliott, Howie, who Collingwood tell me has a hip flexor injury. So I know he's obviously quiet tonight. They said that was a hip flexor. Just in terms of Ginnivan, keep a close eye on him as well. He looks sore. It was a bit ginger as he went out to the huddle there, but he did look sore. So keep an eye on him. But Collingwood, to borrow a Formula 1 analogy, Howie, speaking of Ricardo, specialise in the undercut. So it'll be interesting to see if they can get them in the fourth quarter now.
They do. Will Melbourne go into the pits? Two-man, Reds Edders, please.
Well, Magpies have won their past 5 by an average winning margin of 5 points. But Nick Dacos, number 1 ranked player in that third quarter with 10 disposals.
Be a game man or woman to be against Collingwood in the last term, Chief, with the form they have got exposed on the board.
100%. Pressure up over 200 in that third term. So it just shows you, even though you mightn't be winning dominant possessions or contested possessions or clearances and you're copping repeat inside 50s, you can still lift your work rate in defensive areas like that. So every time Melbourne go forward, the ball's hitting the deck, they're not allowing marks inside 50, and the pressure is rebounding all the time, and then they're creating their own opportunities going forward.
An amazing record, Collingwood, this year in close games. 10 games have been decided by less than 12 points. They've won 9 of them. This is their last 5 games. Round 16, they won by 5 points. 17, they won by 7 points. 18, 5 points. Round 19, 4 points. Round 26 points. They trail by 7 points now.
So what that means, Duke, is right now they believe. Collingwood. They believe they'll win.
And they're fit.
Ream Hot Water, built tough for Aussie conditions when it comes to water heating. Ask your plumber to install a Ream. Two-man. Crowd's not through yet, but give me a number. You're normally within a couple of thousand.
I reckon it's about 67,000 here tonight, Howie.
Good crowd in the house with a big finish here. Christian Petrarca looking on the Triple M Harvey Norman replay. The new Google Pixel 6a available now at Harvey Norman. Plus receive a bonus $150 gift card. All right, here we go. 7-point lead to Melbourne. Final quarter. Maxi Gawn. Big fist. Worth a kick in the middle, but it's going to be recalled because it was a bit of a wonky-donkey bounce. So we'll reset things. And a cool night in Melbourne. Rained heavily earlier on, but it's cleared away to make quite the spectacle on a Friday night at the mighty MCG. And the Shane Warne standing resplendent on the outer side. Gawn goes off the ground towards Sparrow. Pickett arrives with speed. His hand pass gets across to Spargo. Goes back to Oliver. Bangs it inside 50 to go. He drops a mark he would have normally taken. Fritsch and Pickett got to be confused with each other. Pickett's dropped off the footy and Fritsch is gone with a capital G.
They've tackled well tonight, Chief, the Pies, haven't they?
Absolutely they have. That's that defensive pressure we're talking about. Every time Melbourne look like they're going to create something, they've been jumped upon.
Dacos for a first-year player. Look at the courage in that kick.
That is brilliant.
Just backed himself in, loved the confidence, and this is a good build-up straight through the corridor. Maynard was desperate to play on, and doing so sold himself into some unnecessary trouble when he put it out of bounds. Puts his hand up, so sorry about that one. Pretty composed looking Craig McRae on the Harvey Norman. Why wouldn't you when your side just wins close games as regularly as they have this year? What a finish coming up to this one. Minute gone in the final term, 7-point margin. Beautiful handball from Gawn, releases Petrarca. He went to the voice of Oliver. Again, the tackle pressure a factor for the Pies. Jordan's got to get through. He wants to go back to Max. Confronted. Gets it to Jaden Hunt.
Then it was Maynard. Brown wins it. Contested on the chest to Petrarca. Sizzling ball to Fritsch. Here come Melbourne. They've got the deep options. Melksham wants it deep. He's playing on Darcy Moore.
You're kicking to Melksham, Pickett and also Langdon, so there's just no tall timber down there.
So he tries to short it in towards Melksham, gets out the back as Brownie suggested it would to side bottom. It's a hurry spiral out of defence. It'll work out well to Nick Dacos, who's called to go. Fritsch gets him. He did take a step, was good umpiring. Might come back the other way. Viney, Fritsch takes on Murphy. Now he's got a problem. Dishes out the back to Oliver. Here comes Viney for a second attempt. Back towards Jordan. Once inside 50, slide it to Pickett. Too much on it, Darcy Moore. Ginnivan's in the back line. This time he bangs a high ball out of defence.
Big story there is Nick Dacos has not moved after that tackle. We'll come to Tommy Brown on that in a moment. Collingwood get it to half back. It's not far away from where Nick Dacos finally gets to his feet. What can you tell us, Tommy?
He's coming off now. Hopefully he's winded. There's no obvious injury, but he's breathing in some big breaths, Das. Hopefully he's winded.
He got ragdolled in the Bailey Fritsch tackle. And
he landed his own elbow, pushed up into his ribs when he was tackled to the ground.
Salem flicked it up off his toes, but they're a little bit nervy at the moment, the D's. Crisp couldn't quite get through the Oliver tackle. To go, he put his head down, backed his speed and strength in, down the line. Oh, good effort. The mark almost taken. Johnson's thrown it between his legs. Play on's the call. Elliott has a flying shot, misses the lot.
Oh, wow. They got away with one of the best throws you've ever seen there.
Just wait, Steve.
And it was out of bounds.
Oh, Ash Johnson just scooped it back in, up in the air to a teammate.
Score review happening.
But unfortunately,
ball is out on the full.
I think it's the right call out the full. Jamie Elliott
review underway.
Just got a rush of blood. Thinking about the miracle banana on the run, it would have been better. Kicking to the advantage of one of his teammates.
The ball crosses the line
Bob
on
Jane,
the
Tom
boundary
Brown.
side of the post. Decision on the scoreboard.
Tommy?
Not suggesting anything untoward, but the doctors did rush down to the rooms with Nick Dacos, so obviously getting a quick inspection on those ribs or wherever he got winded.
Yeah, I think it was the ribs. You're right, Brownie, so it's called out in the full, so still a 7-point margin the way of Melbourne in Friday night classic. May drives the ball down towards his good mate Maxi Gawn, who fists it across the line.
I reckon for Melbourne to hang on here and win this, one of either Jackson or Gawn needs to play permanent forward, because the amount of times in this second half they've gone to go inside forward 50, haven't had anyone to kick to. Petrarca only moments ago bursting from half back through centre wing, had to stop, prop, come back for a handball to Oliver.
Triple M Seabar Super's Brownie and the Chief. Seabar Super making hard work pay off to Goey. Another inside 50, they're catching him up on those. He goes to Lipinski, who would have to kick from pretty much the intersection of the 50 and the boundary line. He doesn't fancy it, so he goes into the pocket towards Jamie Elliott, who's always been good for a small man above his head. He's kicked free, he's shoved into the turf, but Jamie will probably go a little left foot round the corner from 30.
You'd think he'd go left foot after the last banana that went out in the full.
It's a good mark, isn't he, Chuck?
It's a great mark. He hung up and in the air. Hibberd went the aggressive spoil. Not happy with his teammates. Michael Hibberd thought someone should have cut that space off.
This is for 4 for Jamie Elliott to make it a 1-point game. Gets it a bit narrow. Mark taken by Johnson, the impressive one. He was just lurking. Let's have a listen. So call it a mark. Let's have a look on the snorkelometer.
Review underway.
Whole ball's got to be over, doesn't it?
That's a mark.
It's going to be hard to overturn, Nate. Not going to give you a job in the arc anytime soon.
No. Snorkel will sack Brownlee real quick if he's calling that over.
I reckon Johnson will get a snap from tight against the behind post to make it a 1-point game.
Come on, Snork.
There's a bit of sponsor time getting a run at the moment.
Maybe they're looking at whether he fumbled the ball or not. Is there a fumble?
I don't think so, Chief.
Is the hand move there, Chief?
Review complete. Looking at these angles, we can see the ball is controlled before crossing the back of the behind line.
This is
on the
massive.
scoreboard.
Chief called that a minute and a half ago, Howie.
Yeah, and this man Johnson puts no foot wrong. I'm going to back him to kick this to make it a 1-pointer.
I just want him to kick it for the celebration.
Yep, he likes the celebration. All right, Ash Johnson, the man that's had quite the football journey, to bring it back to a 1-point game, and listen to the Pies fans if he kicks it.
Gee whiz.
He's missed it by 40 metres.
That was pressure. He rushed it. He stabbed at it, rushed it. Saw the Melbourne players that were going to run in quickly. Just didn't keep his composure.
I feel partly responsible for the pump up.
And then sometimes when you do, you just forget to keep your eye on the ball, don't you?
Yeah. That is it. It's a young man playing his 4th game. Massive crowd, big stakes. He's going to feel pressure.
Lever sends it out of defence. Side bottom's tackle on Pickett was good. Langdon right up and high. It went about 60 metres high, only about 15 long. Well done from Howe. Back come Collingwood. Ginnivan was the target. Max Gawn, as he does so often.
Just levered it well to protect Max Gawn on that occasion.
Tees have transferred it successfully right across in front of the MCC member stand here. A little update on Nick Dacos. Tommy Brown, he's back on the bench. What are you making of it?
He looks relatively okay, Das, which is great news for Collingwood fans. It looks like he'll be ready to come back on shortly.
Well, Jane T-Marts, Tommy Brown all over it. Little fumble from Bailey Fritsch. Supporting tradies with over 120 stores, expert trade teams, design services, huge range of electrical accessories. That's Beacon making every tradie's job easier in the Beacon Trade scoreboard here. And Triple M shows a 7-point lead in the final term to the D's.
Cameron tries to grab it out of the ruck, centre wing in front of the members. Oliver sends it back the other way. Bouncing, tricky one inside 50 through Jackson. Not through Howe. Nick Dacos is back out there. Such a beautiful kick of the footy. Hit McCreery at speed. McCreery juggled it across the line.
This is good under composure. Jeremy Howe read the bounce and then quickly changed his handball target under pressure.
Josh Dacos, the loose behind the footy here for Collingwood.
Gordon was looking for a free, thought he was held in the ruck. And Lipinski just dumps Jordan across the line unceremoniously. So it's a 7-point lead to Melbourne.
Melbourne bringing the extra one. Sorry, Howard.
Right, mate, go on.
Melbourne bringing the extra one up around the football. So they've got a +1 at the stoppage. But Josh Dacos just sitting off the stoppage looks the most dangerous for me.
Cassie Cameron did well there. Got it into the direction of Crisp. Johnson and Petty is the matchup one-on-one. Petty picked it up. Well tackled as Johnson. That was neatly done. Got him over the boundary line. And the Pies can have a look inside forward 50.
Clever by Petty too. He knew he had no options. He just kept running towards the boundary, knowing he'd be tackled across it.
Cracking game, this one. Plenty of time left in this last quarter. 7-point lead to the D's. Slapped down by Gawn. Brayshaw couldn't get a handle on it. It's going towards the goal for the Pies. Oh, he's gone, Viney. Once again, Jamie Elliott. Brilliant.
What about the hospital hand pass?
It's his third run-down tackle inside defensive 50 tonight for Jamie Elliott. The handball went straight to Viney. He had nowhere to go, and the tackle was fierce. The tackle was so fierce it knocked the ball out, so Viney didn't have a second opportunity.
I'm with you, Chief. Pick him and have this one, Jack.
Yeah, correct.
Good luck.
He said, I don't want it.
Could not have sold him into more heat, but Jamie Elliott, as Nate Brown called beautifully, has been brilliant. His 150th game, 25-metre shot, and he makes no mistake. 4 goals, Jamie Elliott. 1-point ball game at the MCG, 77-76. D's by a point. Triple M Beacon Trade scoreboard.
No, this is big, Brownie. This is big. One team nervous, one team believing they're going to win again. Another close game. Collingwood with momentum. This is going to be a huge last 15 minutes.
77 plays 76, Nate.
They've kicked 4 of the last 5 now, the Magpies, and you could see this coming. You could see Collingwood just being running for longer. We spoke about a quarter time. It was breakneck speed, Chief, and we said the club that can run the longest tonight, deep in the last quarter. We said we know Collingwood can. We weren't sure about Melbourne. We think they can. They're a great team, but they've never had in the last, when they've won this premiership, they've always been well in front. This is the first time they've been challenged in a long time over the course of this year.
Pies grab it out of the middle again. To go, he sends it forward. Here's Elliott. Hits the deck. Hunt will be immediately under pressure. Falls to Ginnivan. Danger for all tacklers in the area. Spills out the back. Viney. Langdon sends it down the outer wing. Neil Bullen comes back with a flight. He's got a couple of Pies. Maynard's really clever to Nick Dacos. Sends the ball forward to Ginnivan. Tries to get his man under the ball. Does a pretty good job of that. And now players come from everywhere. Ginnivan's caught with the footy on the outer side. Red Z lending. Loans to the self-employed. Here's the chew.
So Collingwood's pressure rating in the front half of the ground. The AFL average is 172 tonight. They're going at 194.
And Red Z lending beauty from the Chew man, celebrating his 21st year on the M's. At the top of his game, the Pies so impressive here. They hung in there and now they're really taking it down. Maynard! What about the steamroller? Neil Bullen didn't know what hit him. Extraordinary stuff, and on cue, as Chew said, their front half pressure. Look at that on Harvey Norman. He mounted him, Chief. Unbelievable.
Inside 50 ball, the diving is Johnson. The man keeps bobbing up, and now, Chief, you're talking about pressure.
Yep.
This from 40 out on a slight angle to give Collingwood the lead as the Collingwood players get around Maynard, who looked like he was playing rugby league.
The tackle of the year.
15 seconds. 15 gone.
Johnson taking a low diver.
I know the pressure's on here, Howie, but at least he's more comfortable having a set shot on his natural foot than a quick snap around the corner on the opposite peg.
Collingwood have led this game for 1:17. Melbourne for 104 minutes. Johnson, crowd will tell you everything. He's a casual character. Loves everything about it. Does Johnson. Collingwood are in front. I'll say it again. Collingwood are in front. 13-4 to 11-11. 5-point lead is the Pies. And Johnson, he's got 3, Chief.
He's a man that's come into this game and looks like he belongs. He's got great forward craft. He plays in front. He's a beautiful set shot. When was Melbourne's last goal, Ash?
18 minutes into the third quarter.
Holy cow. 18 minutes into the third quarter. They are grinding to a halt, the D's.
They had the first 7 entries of the third quarter. Ash, how many inside 50s since then has it been?
Yeah, come back to you shortly, Brownie, but Magpies have had 5 out of the last 6 in this final term.
Mind you, it's still 58-32 overall in favour of the D's.
Live ladder has the Magpies second on the ladder, equal top apart from percentage with the Cats. This would be 11 straight if they can hang on from here, the Pies. Remarkable scenes at the MCG. The D's are coming big time. Max Gawn looked like he had his arm held. No free kick. Picked up by Brown. Back to Neil Bullens. Threw it out. Nick Dacos. Bailey Fruit trapped up in a good tackle.
I like the move of Max Gawn forward by Simon Goodwin. He's the only one that's looked likely to mark the ball as a tall player in this entire game.
Good pressure again when it hit the deck.
McDonald's, Ream Hot Water, Triple M Rocks footy. Melbourne in attack, desperate for something. Lipinski's got a couple of problems. Dishes out a hand pass to the tackling machine, Maynard. Splits it out towards centre wing. And it's across the line, 77-82 the way of the Pies. 11.50 to go on the Triple M Beacon Trade scoreboard. Supporting tradies, 120 stores, expert trade teams, design services, a huge range of electrical accessories. Beacon making every tradie's job easier.
13 inside 50s to 12 for the last quarter and a half. Collingwood have kicked 4 goals, 2 to Melbourne, 1-3.
Big Meso slapped it forward. Josh Dacos couldn't quite get it. Then he got back involved. Lipinski's thrown that as well. Play on to the call. Ricocheted off Carmichael. Jaden Hunt with the up and under to centre forward. Max Gawn, as Brownie said. He's got the mismatch of Howe. Took the mark. Chips it into the pocket. Maynard. Brown landed in his lap. Ben Brown takes a big mark. And he can go back and give Melbourne the lead.
Maynard limping. He's going to come from the ground. He was the one that tried to spoil cutting across, but just couldn't get up high enough.
Ben Brown, his traditional marathon run-up, takes him all the way back to half forward. It's the jack in the box on the mark. This is Mason Cox's party trick. Watch the jack in the box. How have you seen it before?
No.
He crouches down. There he goes, the jack in the box. And it didn't do bugger all, Howie, because Ben Brown slots it home and the D's in back in front. 1 point lead. That is all on the Triple M Beacon Trade scoreboard. Ben Brown's got a couple. What a game.
With the move for Max Gawn forward, he looked likely to take the mark. Then he got a free. He did get a free kick. He probably should have got a free kick for his arm being chopped, and then a big mark at centre half forward and put the Demons back in it. So, look, if I'm Simon Goodwin, I'm rucking Jackson for the rest of this game. I'm just saying you need to do a power of work. There's probably 10 and a half minutes of playing time to go. I need you to ruck because Max Gawn's our most likely avenue to goal.
Cox in the box.
It is. That's his party trick, Howie.
I like Cox in the box.
He loves it too.
Might want to put that one away if they keep slotting them straight over your head.
Maynard looks like he's getting a bit of an ankle re-strapping down there, Tom Brown, Bob Jane.
Sore. He looks sore, Howie, so hopefully they get him back on.
All right, big game. Big repercussions of this one. Melbourne now inside 50. Brown. Pendlebury caught with the footy. How did he get rid of it? Spills to a couple of Demons. Oliver breaks one tackle, goes back by hand. Petrarca tries to spot a target, and Brown gets underneath it. Not a bad result, Demons in attack though, 30 round from their goal. They lead it by a point, 10:21 to come, and this is why we come to the footy.
Scintillating Friday night at the MCG for McDonald's and Ream Hot Water. Triple M rocking footy. 1 point ball game. Halfway mark of the last term. Pendlebury, he's gone boundary line. And they've paid an insufficient attempt. Pendles puts his hands out and says, please. You're kidding, aren't you? What else can I do? Petrarca gets it moving. Cozzy through his hands. Out the back, Murphy slides it through the corridor. May with strength. Push Mychek off it. Then he shins it forward. Jamie Elliott cleverly gains some ground and it favoured McCreery. He'll back his speed in against Penny. Handball's in front. It's the Kevin Bartlett option. Did it come off his boot? It did.
Good result from McCreery. He did well, didn't he? Because Hibberd was back loose. If he kicks it, it gets mopped up by Melbourne. He just backed himself. And even though he didn't get a lot of ground out of it, just getting the stoppage forward of the wings, a good result for the Pies.
Jackson and Cox, who does well, grabs out of the ruck. Sends it towards Chris. He's got no room with Petrarca right on his hammer. Now Oliver. Slick hands to Brayshaw. The big boys involved. Brayshaw takes a little 40-metre kick to Oliver. AFL logo centre wing. Right in front of them. They don't need
the fast play here, Melbourne. They can just go slow and chip the ball up the ground.
Just a high kick by Oliver. See if it works out. It won't. To Carmichael. Pendlebury delays the hand pass to Chris. Takes on the tackle. They still move it forward. Josh Dacos was hit as he kicked it. Puts it out in front of Mychek. Oh, brilliantly done by Stephen May. Dived on the footy, picked it up. Melbourne, Hibberd, Pickett, and back to Hibberd. Now Langdon.
Wants it out of there, Langdon. Down the line, big collision coming up, and ricochets back to side bottom. This works out well for Collingwood. Pendlebury to Carmichael. Nick Dacos, beautiful handball to brother Josh. Turns around and nails it. Pies back in front. Goal for goal at the MCG. The Dacos brothers are involved in that. And this is as good as it gets. Friday night footy. 5-point lead of the Pies. Triple M Beacon Trade School.
I know we talk a lot about Nick Dacos, the younger brother, and the fact that how good he's been this year. But that handball at the 19-minute mark of the last quarter against the best team in the business, and the game is hot. I mean, it is pressure everywhere at the moment. It's hard to get an easy ball. It's hard to get the target. And within a split second, had the ball in his hands and had threaded up handball through the hole to his brother to set up a goal assist. It was just outstanding.
Pendlebury's going to start in the middle alongside Cameron DeGoey and Josh Dacos. For the Demons, you got Gawn, Viney, Petrarca and Oliver. So all the big guns are in there. Craig McRae on the Harvey Norman pumping his fist.
Yeah, we don't see much emotion from the fly. He was up and about.
The big guns in the centre. What a clearance this is. Collingwood lead it by 5 points. 8:43 on the clock. Gawn tries to inch it forward. Viney gets down and dirty. Oliver, Petrarca, Viney, they all combine. Neil Bullen from 35. Neil Bullen! Goal for goal at the G.
I think the great thing about it is, at least with Collingwood coming back and hitting the front, it's created urgency in Melbourne's game. They've become more desperate. They realise that there's a game slipping away from them here if they don't do something. And the boys in the middle, Petrarca and Oliver and Viney, getting involved, clearance style, getting that ball forward to Neil Bullen, who's all of a sudden able to finish off a couple of steps. Genuine urgency in the D's game now.
Best game of the year unfolding at the MCG here on a Friday. This is marquee stuff. And we've still got plenty of time left. Collingwood have won their last 10 matches, Howie, in these close games.
By an average of 10.8 points.
Extraordinary record. Here comes Cozzy Pickett. 1 point lead of the D's. What can Cozzy do? He's been pretty quiet. Puts it out in front of Fritsch. Murphy from behind, picked up by the Fritcher. Flicks it back to Langdon. Tracks the boundary line. Beautifully done side bottom. Oh, won a big one-on-one. And then his handball was good to DeGoey. Takes it on. Shane Warne stands side of the G down the line. DeGoey just overcooked it a bit. And it bounds on the full. Lever's ball at halfback.
Doesn't mess around, Jakey Lever. It's quite extraordinary. They're 10 wins on this streak. The average margin, 10.8 points. Oliver. And they currently trail by 1 point. 13-11 to 14-4. Here's a ball and a half to be won on the outer side. It's all Collingwood. Mychek, DeGoey, McCreery wants to move it. Johnson's moving it deep. They want to get it down to this young man if they can. Here he is, Johnson. Well played, Petty. No, it's a push. Johnson can do no wrong. Petty, hands to his head, and Johnson will line up for goal number 4 in game number 4.
Blame Harvey Norman replay. The push was there. There was 2 hands in the middle of the back, and he might complain about it, but that's clear.
I don't know what he's complaining about, Brownie. That's an obvious free kick, isn't it?
Ash Johnson came in with 6 career goals in 3 games. He's playing his 4th game. He's kicked 3. His set shot work has been outstanding. He has to kick this from 30 on a slight angle to give Collingwood the lead. Ash Johnson steps up, bangs it home. Johnson, on the biggest of stages, has nailed his 3rd, and Collingwood lead it by 5 points, 6:54 on the clock.
What about how casual that guy is when he comes in for goal? But it's a beautiful routine. He does the same thing every time. He doesn't try to over-kick it. He knows what his skill set is, and he just beautifully went in, and everyone has been straight through the middle and just a nice, even action. And there's nothing wrong with that at all, and a really good celebration again for number 4.
He's got a great ball drop. And this is a young man that's just come into the game. 4 games, he's now got 9 goals to his name. Ridiculous.
10, Chief. Goal number 10, that is, for his career.
10, I apologise.
Ash Johnson.
Mature age, mid-season draft. It's been a winner.
He just looks like a player. All-important centre clearance coming up. The bounce favoured Max Gawn, and he took advantage of it. Got it to Oliver.
Oh.
How good are the A-graders? Viney let the traffic run past him and then goes deep in attack. Getting back Quainer. He's got composure for a young man too. McCreary in the one-on-one, and he took it. Just a bit too strong for his direct opponent there by McCreary. It was Rivers. And so a nice contested mark. Half back here, the Magpies.
McCreary. Defensive side of the wing, drives it to the attacking side of the wing in front of the members. Comes to ground towards Bianco, subbed in by Hoskin Elliott. Applies a tackle.
Geez, their tackling's been impressive, the Pies. So often Melbourne look like they're going to swoop on the loose ball and take it away. They just get hammered in a tackle.
Cameron and Gawn. No one really winning the contest. 6:07 on the clock to go. Collingwood lead by 5 points.
You could just feel the tension reverberating around this magnificent Coliseum that is the MCG. The Pies brave again here against the reigning champs. McCreary stood up, tried to get the handball out, and then he was tackled nicely by Hunt. The umpire is saying no prior opportunity at half forward for the Pies. Extraordinary game this has been. 5:50 remaining in it. 5-point lead to the Magpies. They trailed for the majority of this game. Viney with a little toe poker. Wants some ground. Picked up beautifully by Howe. Confronted by Brayshaw. Came back to Howe, and then that was edged out of bounds off the hands of Ben Brown. Directly in front of Tommy Brown, the interchange race side of the MCG. We're going to have a boundary throw. The Magpies by 5 points.
Gawn in the ruck.
Coaches will be looking around now, hoping that their sit-ups are good, hoping that everybody's one-on-one. We've got an extra behind the football, but at the moment, everybody is one-on-one. There's no loose anywhere.
Elliott and Johnson with 4 apiece for the Pies. Heads in that direction now. Myercheck, Stephen May. Use a tighten in defence. Takes a strong mark. Aided by Lever. Goes to Spargo.
A nervous moment there as Johnson closed in on the space. Salem goes out wide to Petty.
It's a massive contested mark from Mather.
He's done it so often, Chief, hasn't he, back there in that role? He's powerhouse. Kicked down the line, a lot of numbers there with the Pies. Great to see Maynard. Okay, after getting his ankle re-strapped, flicks it out wide. Shane Warne Standard Noble.
The fast break then, Melbourne, but absolutely nobody to kick to.
Clever kick from Nick Dacos again. Perfect for Lipinski. Still had to be brave enough to stand underneath it. Pat Lipinski got his hand up, signalling that he's going to bomb it long, and he's true to his word. He needs a contest from Myercheck. Look out for May, and the intercept markers. Johnson stands Up in the tackle again. Oliver tried to get it moving. He might have copped a high one. No free kick doing. Chumet.
Darcy crowd has come in. 70,956. So to put that into perspective, the past 5 non-Queen's birthday clashes have only averaged 44.
Well, love it, Chewy. People are coming back to the footy. Good stuff. Ben Brown in front of Darcy Moore. Darcy Moore at ground level. Crisp towards Lipinski. Gets it out to side bottom. He tries to go off the ground. Cozzy Pickett throws himself wildly at the footy. Oliver Brown. Oliver side bottom. Takes a bit off the kick. Chris Marks, 55 from home. 4 minutes to go. Collingwood lead by 5 points. The land almost a knockout blow.
These are these players that Collingwood, they just keep running. Crisp was one of them. McCreary is the other one. You got fresh legs everywhere. Bianco's come onto the field. They just keep running.
There's Oliver and Brown are cramping. Crisp lands at 30 from home. Meyer check. Out the back is danger for the Demons. Viney caught one high as he fell. Now Melbourne will launch from fullback.
Jamie Elliott feels like he was hard done by on the free kick. Viney put his head in as he always has done here, but down the line looking for Jordan. He's got 2 to beat. Bianco and Maynard off hands.
Yeah, Stephen May just gesticulating with Michael Hibberd because he was an easy chip kick, an easy connect kick, and he went long to an outnumbered scenario.
Collingwood's record in close games, remarkable. They've got a 5-point lead. 3 minutes 18 remaining in this game. Final quarter at the MCG. Oliver scrambles a kick forward. Fretch, Maynard went full chest at it. Oh, beautifully tackled Bianco. Thought he crunched Fretch. Play on's the call. Crisper had a little fumble. Spills back out to Jordan. Back to Brayshaw. Manages a kick down the line, but it's all Collingwood. And Bianco, the medical sub's got it on the wing.
Got about 3 or 4 tackles in that passage there from Collingwood. Brilliant.
2:50 on the clock. Another goal for Collingwood, 5-point leaders. They're almost there as Bianco drives it down towards the attacking flank. May flies. McCreary's been good this term. Max Gawn can't pick it up. McCreary again taps it in front of himself. Gives it to Crisp. Back to McCreary. Crisp wobbles it inside towards Elliott. Coming out is Hibberd. Massive moments here. Lever caught behind by Lipinski. Didn't have Pryor. Be thrown up. 40 out from Collingwood's attacking goal. 2:23 on the clock. The Pies up by 5.
Simon Goodwin, Harvey Norman replay screen. He's standing up and he is just screaming out instructions. Just over 2 minutes remaining. Collingwood in attack. They get it back to Crisp. It's going to bounce through in the Pies. It took a bit of a leg break. Just when it wasn't needed, it was nearly home. 6-point margin in favour of the Pies. Triple M Beacon Trade scoreboard. 2 minutes remaining.
Opens up the draw as an opportunity as Petrarca just tries to burrow his way through to Hunt. Holds the ball. Collingwood will get it. 1:57 on the clock. They'll drive it inside 50 and try and take the mark, kick the goal to win the game.
They've got a lot of players spare. They could wipe some time off the clock here if they wanted to go backwards and sideways. Dacos lining up for it.
It's not a bad idea, Brownie. Take the easy time off the clock if the opposition is going to give it to you.
Dacos receives it from Pendlebury. 1:44 on the clock. He'll drive it towards the pocket. It's a high inside 50 ball. Where are the big boys? From the side is Cameron. Going hard, he's Petty in the tackle. A couple of Pies over the footy. Oliver trying to extract it. Collingwood are happy, 30 out from their goal. They lead by a goal. 1 minute 28 on the clock. It's already done there for the Demons.
Just love that from Nick Dacos a moment ago. Trent Bianco was standing in the spot where he thought he was going to get the ball and he yelled at Bianco, get out of the way. I'm the man to have ball in hand. That's the confidence of Nick Dacos in his first year. Minute 27 remaining. The Pies by 6 points. It's deep inside their forward line. Oliver on hands and knees, working hard to get it out. And more precious seconds now. Time becoming a big factor. Minute 19 remaining. More than 70,000 in the house here at the MCG, and the Pies are in front by 6 points.
Melbourne, they can't afford to give up a point. It'll just about get it there for Collingwood. They need a free or something to extract it, Melbourne. Spills partially loose. Comes out to Hunt. He's immediately caught by McCreary. Spills out towards Elliott. Across the line. Another 20 seconds gone. 1:05 on the clock.
Again, great pressure. And we shouldn't overlook how good we've spoken about making the most of opportunities, Collingwood with inside 50s, but they've kicked 10 straight from set shots.
Max Gawn needs to fist this. He needs to clear the area.
Craig McRae looking at 11 straight wins and second spot on the ladder. He's got a minute remaining with a 6-point lead on a Friday night. Josh Dacos, Bianco almost pushed him in the back. They're letting it go. Bracer over the top. Clock still ticking down to 50 seconds. They love this, Collingwood. Trapped inside their forward 50, 46 seconds remaining.
Well, the other great setup is they've now got Jeremy Howe as a sweeper in defence. So they're going to have to do something special, even if they win the ball, Melbourne, to get past that.
Got to run the length, don't they, Chief?
Yep.
It's good coaching. Collingwood looking to finish it right here, right now, and record yet another win. Still players come for the footy. Still no one's getting out. Still the clock ticks. Stopped at 34, Das. It's like a wrestling bout.
They've just scrapped a minute and a half, Collingwood, all in their forward 50. And they've just multiple ball ups, haven't allowed Melbourne to get an inch out.
You're going to hear a noise like you wouldn't believe in a moment. Max Gawn did the right thing, just smashed it forward. Can they manufacture something here, the D's? Pinballing around. Noble won it back inside 50 for Collingwood. 22 seconds. D's have got to get it. May kicks it. It's an up-forward mark taken by the Crisper. And that'll be your game, I reckon. Jack Crisp got it. 183rd consecutive game, Chief.
Done it again.
Unbelievable scenes. This will be 11 in a row for Collingwood. It's the 10th game they've won by less than 12 points. There's the siren. The Pies are second on the ladder. Extraordinary scenes. 70,956 in the house. And for a bit of cream on top, the Crisper from outside 50 has just missed. It doesn't matter. The Pies with a historic win at the MCG, 11 wins in a row. Craig McRae in his first year is a fairy tale story on a Friday night at the MCG.
By 8 at quarter time, 17 and a half, 7 at 3/4 time. Collingwood kicked 5 of the last 7 goals of the game to win it by 7 points. 13-11-89 to Melbourne, 15-6-96. Johnson in his 4th game kicked 4. Elliott in his 150th kicked 4. And Collingwood on the live ladder, Chew?
Well, they're sitting second on the live ladder currently. Level on points with Geelong, who are on top of the table. Of course, they have a game in hand. Magpies only won 6 games last year, Howie. They've racked up 15 already.
Quite extraordinary in front of 70,956 fans who got absolutely banged for their buck tonight. We'll get to the interview shortly. It's just an outstanding game of football, Chieftain.
We saw it coming 10 minutes into the third quarter. You felt the shift, Chief, the fact that Collingwood started to run. Melbourne looked like they were out on their feet. They'd given it their best shot. Probably should have been 8 goals in front, but after that, it was just Collingwood controlling the game.
We talk about accuracy a lot, and often we focus on easy shots missed at one end. It wasn't really about that tonight. It was about the fact that whenever Collingwood had a chance, they took it.
Here's Jamie Elliott with Richo.
We've played in the last couple of months. Diesel was fun though. How exciting is Ash Johnson? Sorry, almost said it. Yeah.
That's incredible, a young guy, Ash Johnson, come from nowhere. The pressure in the last quarter to kick those 2 vital goals. So what a play. Where'd you find him?
You have to talk to Derek Hine, I reckon. He's a special talent. He's very gifted physically, but he's got really good forward craft, and we're seeing that, and he's bringing good energy to the group, like a lot of our young guys are, and we've got a great group of mixed youth with a little bit of experience, and it's really exciting at the moment.
Mate, the Collingwood Army, they're excited. 11 wins in a row. The belief must be just enormous within this group. Another close win.
Yeah, we're doing hard for ourselves, aren't we? Wouldn't mind winning by a little bit more, but we'll take it. Shows great, like, for this group to fight, like 11 wins now where it's been so close. The maturity of the group, and we've got so many young guys as well, but we'll come on leaps and bounds, so we're just playing week by week and see where it takes us. We're just playing on energy and spirit at the moment, and we're just going for the ride.
Mate, they've got an amazing defensive group, Melbourne, and tonight Lever and May didn't take an intercept mark in your forward 50. You got it to ground level, you went to work, and that was obviously a big focus.
Yeah, I mean, they're hell of players. They're, in terms of intercepting, they just dominate the air, so obviously you don't want to kick near them, so we try to move it off the line, move it quickly so they couldn't get set. We feel like opposition have let them get set and they just dominate in the air, so... But when we've got players that have really good aerial ability and we bring out pressure on the ground, it's exciting, yes.
Go and soak it up. Amazing win. Well done on your own form as well, Jamie. Cheers. Well done, mate.
Well done indeed. Triple M Amy Review. Submit your fan clanger story to amy.com.au/fansurance and you could win. Here's Braden Maynard.
Happened at half time because they were smacking you around the contest. After half time, you flipped it around completely.
Yeah, it's exactly right. Their pressure was outdoing ours, and we just came back to basics, our DNA, and we brought it in the second half, and I'm just so proud of the boys.
Yeah, mate, you're able to outbeat them at their big area, which is contested possession. It's probably something that hasn't been your one wood, but you showed tonight you can match it with the best in that area as well.
Absolutely, and I feel like when we come up against the best teams, that's what we bring, and yeah, we keep playing these tight games and it suits us to a T, so yeah, it's elite.
You got a little split over your eye there. What about that big tackle you laid out here in the last quarter on Neil Bullen?
Pretty good, wasn't it? Pretty good. No, it's elite. I actually heard the thump. I winded myself a little bit, but I'm glad I got the crowd up and about. It's good.
Mate, you must think you can go all the way now, the belief within the group and the run that you've had.
Mate, absolutely. I mean, the crowd comes out, it helps us a lot, and the footy we're playing is unreal to see, and I just can't wait for the finals.
What does Fly say at half time to the group to keep you in the game? And can I take that home? No. What did he say at half time?
Yeah, so basically we were getting beaten around the ball in the air, and we came back to basics, we came back to what we do best, and I felt like we brought that, and mate, I just can't wait for the finals because it's a whole new ball game and I can't wait.
You're going to go well. Well done, Braden. Enjoy it, mate.
Thanks, fella.
I love that the players are out there. They work so hard, Chief.
Yep.
And they always talk about 5 minutes after a game, then it's next week, but they're out, they're with their supporters, they're getting selfies, they're cheering, they're pumping up the crowd, they're smiling. It's brilliant to see.
I just want to recap what I was saying before. It's not emphasised enough. The difference between kicking goals and not kicking goals is the difference between winning and losing. And I don't think we should ever underestimate it. Let's have a listen to Craig McRae talking to Matty Richardson.
Proud of this group tonight.
Oh, yeah, it's unbelievable. And you hear the crowd now. They're getting right behind us. It's a pretty special moment. These guys are got a lot of belief, haven't they? You know, we're prepared to run the 4 quarters out. And, I better go with them, but pretty cool performance.
Well done, mate. Thank you.
I just think we focus too often on easy shots missed at one end. And apart from, I think, Max Gawn missed an easy one, they weren't dreadful in front of goal Melbourne. It's just that Collingwood were perfect. 10 straight from set shots. That doesn't happen in games of football. And that's the reason they've won the game tonight.
Extraordinary game. We'll go down into the rooms, hear the song for a Friday night feed, catch a quarter pounder range meal and score a free Macca's last star collecting today. Of course, we'll have the Triple M MVP award for homeloans.com.au. Homeloans.com.au, the best and first when it comes to home loans. Who's doing that tonight?
I have to change. It was 10-1 because Chris' kick after the siren was actually a behind.
Who's doing the votes?
I've got the votes.
Okay, fantastic. So Collingwood with 11 straight wins, Chewy.
Yeah, they haven't done that since 2011, Howie. 11 in a row.
Quite extraordinary, Chew man. They are coming in, and every Collingwood support staff member, Taylor Adams is there. He's dishing out high fives. The energy in that room is quite extraordinary at the moment. The players are gathering. Jamie Elliott kicked 4. Ash Johnson in his 4th game also kicked 4 goals. Absolutely unbelievable night at the MCG. It was Melbourne by 8 at quarter time, 17 at the half, 7 at 3/4 time. In the end, Collingwood 13-11-89 to Melbourne 15-6-96. 7-point winners, as it's like they're after a couple of errant magpies. Jamie Elliott's calling his team in. Just waiting for a couple of operators to get in there. Taylor Adams will be back in a week or two with that groin issue. What do the Dacos boys do tonight, Chewy?
Nick Dacos leading ball winner for the Magpies with 31 touches. And Josh Dacos, he picked up 15 and kicked a major and also laid 4 tackles.
What else do you like, Chewy?
Well, it's Collingwood. It's they've won their past 5-6 matches by an average winning margin, Howie, of 5.6 points per game.
Wow.
Combined total of 34 points. But it was their goals from the corridor. That's how efficient they were. Jason mentioned 10 goals, 1 from set shots, of 14 out of 15 from the corridor.
Here's the Pies. The Macca's loving it moment and a full wrap. We might even open the IGA Liquor open line after that one. It was so good. We'll just see what's happening around the country. But it is a 7-point win to Collingwood in extraordinary circumstances. They're 11th straight for McDonald's and Ream Hot Water. Triple M Rockford Ball.
That quarter for Beacon Trade, supporting tradies with over 120 stores, expert trade teams, design services and a huge range of electrical accessories. Beacon, making every tradie's job easier.
For Ream Hot Water,
Triple M rocks footy.
Built tough for Aussie conditions. When it comes to water heating, ask your plumber to install a Ream.
Hi, it's Marty Sheargold. Right now, Triple M rocks footy, and we're back on Monday. And at 8:30, we'll wrap up the round with Scott Pendlebury.
I was reading about the North Melbourne jumper and then I jumped online to try and buy one and they've got none in my size.
Aww.
They've already sold out in large and extra large.
You're not extra large or large.
What are you thinking?
Extra large.
Oh,
The Marty Sheargold Show. Weekdays from 6 on Melbourne's 105.1 Triple M.
Australia, it's time for a break. And at Choice Hotels, we have everything you need to enjoy your perfect getaway. So whether you're looking to reunite or re-energise, see the sights or see the family, Choice Hotels have you covered. With hotels across Australia, from Albury to Albany, Brisbane to Bendigo, and everywhere in between. Your next break is just a click away when you book direct at choicehotels.com for the lowest price guaranteed. That's choicehotels.com. Terms and conditions apply.
Feel like you're always changing worn-out power tool accessories? Not with Kango. Kango's range of drilling, driving and fastening accessories won't quit until you do. So you can get through the toughest materials with ease and speed. When you need accessories that go the distance, choose Kango. Kango. Toughen up your power tools. Look for the yellow target next time you visit the Bunnings tool shop.
Wait for it. Wait for it. And there it is. Tom just realised that he forgot to pick up a bottle of his favourite wine when he was grabbing the ingredients for his famous Sunday roast. If only he'd paid more attention to that red he saw whilst grabbing the carrots. Because it's easy to add a drop to your shop at IGA Liquor, where good food deserves a great drop. Over 18s only. Drink responsibly.
It's that time of the week. Furphy Footy Friday. From the first bounce to the bar, it's time to crack one. Tell one. Furphy. Unbelievable. Drink responsibly.
Listen up, everybody. Kogan Mobile's award-winning prepaid prices just got even better. You can get started with Kogan Mobile for just $2.90 for 30 days. That comes with unlimited calls, unlimited texts, plus a big 20 gig of data. There's no hidden costs, just amazing value with no bill shock. Thousands of Aussies have been making the switch to Kogan Mobile thanks to the quick and easy activation. So make the call. Switch to Kogan Mobile from just $2.90 for the first 30 days at koganmobile.com.au.
Whatever your sport, Oakley has your back. Unleash your creativity with Oakley custom sunglasses. Choose from endless combinations of frames, lenses and details that work with your sport and lifestyle. Discover the range in-store now. Oakley, be who you are.
Here's something you'll love to welcome into your home. Refinancing your home loan with CommBank is now much simpler for eligible customers with even less paperwork. Plus, if you're eligible, you can get $2,000 cash back to spend however you like. So don't just stand there. Welcome CommBank's simpler refinancing into your home. Speak to your lending specialist today. Eligible customers only. For cashback, apply by 31 December 2022 and fund by 31 March 2023. Minimum loan amount $250,000. Conditions, fees and charges apply.
Triple M rocks footy.
The Triple M Footy Review. Amy. Who covers clangers? Amy does. Lucky you're with Amy.
Collingwood, 7-point winners for an 11th straight win. 13-11-89, Melbourne 15-6-96. Johnson with 4. Elliott with 4 in his 150th in front of 70,956 people. Tonight, I'm loving it moment happened in the final quarter. Here's how the Duke called it on Triple M Footy.
Wants it out of there, Langdon. Down the line, big collision coming up, and ricochets back to side bottom. This works out well for Collingwood. Pendlebury to Carmichael. Nick Dacos, beautiful hand with a brother Josh. Turns around and nails it. Pies back in front. Goal for goal at the MCG. The Dacos brothers are involved in that. And this is as good as it gets. Friday night footy.
We're about to get to the votes. Unfortunately, Chief, we can't take callers.
Oh, come on, Howie.
Our relays up in Coolum have got their surf and turf fishing show tonight, so we won't be going with the callers tonight, but we can go with the votes for Triple M MVP Award, homeloans.com.au, the best and fairest when it comes to home loans. I think it's you, Chiefy boy.
It is not an easy one for votes because I wanted to look after Collingwood, but they didn't have standout players per se. It was just such a great team effort. In the end, I gave one vote to Clayton Oliver. He's had 42 possessions. Now, I know he doesn't use the ball as well as he can, but 24 contested possessions, that's more than 10. More than 10 than the second best on the ground. He's had 14 clearances and 8 tackles. Thought he was great.
Yep.
I gave 2 votes to Max Gawn. I thought he played a monster game. 31 possessions, 10 marks and 10 clearances himself.
I agree with that one.
And I gave 3 to Nick Dacos. He just continues to impress. It's the way he sets up off half-back. The decision-making for a young player is extraordinary. He's 31 possessions, 10 intercept possessions. I thought he was very, very good.
I agree with that one too.
And it was just difficult from a Collingwood perspective.
Not sure about Oliver,
so
though.
even. Yeah, that's okay.
We've always got things to go, is he? What do you got on tomorrow night?
Hey?
What do you got on tomorrow?
Heaps.
Maybe.
Yeah, busy man.
What about you, Chief?
Hawthorn v Gold Coast tomorrow, Triple M.
What about you, Chiefy?
I've got Duke's boy against Freo, which I'm going to enjoy.
Pump him right up.
I've got
Good
that
luck.
game too. Flemington race 1 tomorrow. I've got something that I'm really keen on.
What number?
Berkeley Square, it's called.
That's not you really keen on it, mate.
Campbell Brown
it's
tipping
not.
that one today as well.
It's Jules.
Yeah.
Hey, good luck.
Yeah, we do.
To the Darcy family tomorrow.
Appreciate that.
We will be cheering on.
Don't
I want
get
you
too
to
many
give him a
photos,
good
Duke.
pump up
I'll
on
be
the
making
Fox
it all
Footy
about
coverage,
mate.
Chief. Young Sam Darcy, pump him right up. That's it, though. We're done here. Well done to Leroy, to Jace, to Tunners, to Marky Boy, and everyone else involved, the two-man, Daniel Patrick for the T-shirts. Magnificent. It's Collingwood by 7 points. Give your mum and dad a hug tonight, Chief, from McDonald's and Ream Hot Water. Peace and love. Triple M Rocks.
The Triple M